We're just normal men.
What do you mean, normal men?
We're just innocent men.
It's time for Side Scrollers with me, Stuttering Craig.
Oh, wow. Right on the tip. Just on the tip.
And Blabs. Co-hosted by our friends from around the internet.
There is a portion of Norway where it is legally required to carry a firearm at all times.
If you're just a normal man looking for common sense in this crazy-ass world, you've come to the right place. And now, broadcasting from our homes from around the internet, it's time for Side Scrollers. Oh, welcome on out to Side Scrollers on YouTube.com and Rumble.com and SideScrollersPodcast.com. It is Friday, friends. It is Finish Strong Friday. Hey, everybody. I am Stuttering Craig. Great to see you guys. Hopefully you're doing well. Man, oh man, do we have a good show today. The internet has given us so much to talk about, and we're glad to be talking about it with you. It is Friday, which means it is the last day of our mercenary producer filling in for Blabs. Everyone, round of applause for the wonderful Steph.
Hi! It's my final day. It's so sad. I don't want to leave. Okay,
Well,
like you're stuck with me now. I
Okay.
don't want to go.
Sorry, Blabs.
I'm so attached to this show now. I have
Well, I'll tell
something
you-
to look forward to every morning.
Excellent. Well, that's good. Hopefully everybody looks forward to hanging out on Side Scrollers. Well, I'll tell you what, Steph, here's the thing. Blabs is coming back this weekend from Japan. And I think she's going to have a really hard time adjusting on Monday. So much so that I don't think she's going to show up on Monday. So maybe Monday you want to fill in again. We'll see.
I wouldn't mind. Let's
Okay.
go. I'm so sad. I really don't want to go. I've gotten so attached now.
All right.
This is probably the most me and Craig have talked
Yeah.
this whole week, and I'm enjoying it.
Hey, this is great. Great. We got what do the kids call vibes? We got vibes.
Yeah, we've got good vibes.
That's right. Hey, speaking of good vibes, let's bring in our wonderful Friday guest today. Look at that flaming hair right there. It's very dark.
It's me. Hi, guys.
There she is. It's you.
Yep, it is.
How's everything going with you?
Going good. We got a lot to talk about today. Lots of drama.
Oh man,
Yeah.
do we ever? Well,
Yep.
listen, and you are in the centerpiece of it all.
I'm orchestrating the drama behind the scenes. I'm part of it, I suppose.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to get into that much later in the show. But for those who don't know, Sweet Baby Inc. There's a lot of information going on today about it. Their CEO did a TED Talk thing, XOXO. Which, by the way, do you know anything about that event itself?
I have never heard of this event in my life. I have no idea what it is.
We'll definitely talk about that a little bit later because it explains a lot. So we're going to get that.
Yeah.
But during Kim Bel-Air's talk, this lady right here, she was brought up and in visual form, which is great.
I know.
So,
They're acknowledging me. Guys, soon I'm going to be working for Sweet Baby. Better be careful.
oh,
Heel
man.
turn.
Total heel turn. Let's go. They come on the show one day and then you're like, all of a sudden you just start talking about forcibly injecting diversity, equity, inclusion into Side Scrollers, which the irony here is that we're actually a very diverse show today. We have a
True.
man, a woman. We have two women, a man,
Yep.
and a woman of color over
Woman
here.
of
So
color.
Right.
That's me.
But if I do work for Sweet Baby, that's the only chance you have at ever talking to a Sweet Baby employee on this channel. So there we
great
go.
point. I got to be just to be very clear, Vera. They will not hire you.
Oh, of course not. I don't want to work for them. Why would I?
You are way too white.
Yep, true.
With that said, we're going to get into that later on, and we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to watch this entire 20-minute TED Talk that she did later today, towards the tail end of the show, and kind of go beat by beat as they go along. I think that'll be really fun to do. We also have a major rumor today that Concord could potentially be coming back. As a matter of fact, I think it's pretty much confirmed they're working on it to come back. And Elon Musk went nuts last night and announced all sorts of things, which if you were watching the Jetsons in 1965 or went to Epcot in the 1980s, you would say the future is here. And we're going to get into that very, very shortly. I also have some bad news that censorship is in fact working. We will get to that very, very shortly as well. But first, I'd like to remind everybody we are live over at rumble.com/sidescrollers. We also have an X account, which you can follow over there and actually watch the show on a day-to-day basis, which is great. If you guys are watching over on X, do us a favor, hit the like button or the repost button. We really appreciate that. We also have an Instagram account, and we also have a Kick account, and you can listen to the show over on Apple Podcast and Spotify starting on Tuesday when Blabs gets back, or Monday, whenever she gets back. But of course, the place we want you guys to go for the best place to support is sidescrollerspodcast.com, a place where we're going to be having major emphasis moving into 2025. So just hang tight for that, but get in early and become a member over there, which is great. But if you're tuning into us over here on YouTube, join the 102,265 normal men who have found common sense in the video game and entertainment space. We appreciate you guys tuning in with us this morning. And let's do our best to get to 1,000 likes. I think we had like 1,500 yesterday. Our all-time goal is like 2,700. So let's see if we can just boost those rookie numbers up today and go crazy. So with that said, glad you guys are joined us today. We have a lot to talk about, so no dilly-dallying around. None. No ladies. None dilly-dallying at all. It is Friday, and Blabs will be back next week, but Blabs has left us with Today in Gaming History. So let's fire away and see what Blabs left us today. Releasing on October 11th. Ooh, Mortal Kombat Trilogy. Let's go. That was a good one back in the day. Any Paper Mario memories there, Vera?
Well, actually, behind me, I wasn't able to find my 1,000-Year Door copy, but I did find my sealed Paper Mario.
Oh!
I know, I'm so sorry, guys. Every week I have a game that's on the list, but I thought that this was a decent substitution.
Nice. In box?
Yep, and sealed.
That's got to be worth lots of dollars.
Probably.
Nice.
I
Good
don't know.
for
I'm
you.
never going to sell it.
Right. You know what I'm never going to sell?
What? Oh, your Concords. You gotta love them. Every time I come on this show, there's always something Concord that pops up. I'm
I
so
know.
offended. I thought it was
Sorry.
supposed to just die.
Nope. Keep on going. Keep on going forever and ever.
Yeah.
All right. Also on the list today, let's see what else we got. We had a Gears of War 4. That's pretty fun.
Fantastic game.
Yeah, people like Gears of War. That's good stuff. Some noticeable games that Blabs did miss today include 25 years ago on the N64, I would say cult classic, Jet Force Gemini. Do you remember that game on the N64?
Yep.
I
love the N64.
Oh my gosh, it was great. Ooh, I love this game, LA Rush, which if you played back in the day, the racing game back in the day, I loved Rush 2049. That was a sweet racing game back in the day. But released for the PlayStation 2 19 years ago. Dead Rising 2 Off the Record was released 11 years ago. Forza Motorsport 4 for the Xbox 360. And Bravely Default for the 3DS. Flying Fairy was released in 2012 in Japan. Project X Zone for the 3DS. A lot of games today.
Yeah.
A lot. And let's see. Anything else? F-Zero Climax was released today on the Game Boy Advance, because we're getting the Nintendo Switch games from Japan released today, which is pretty freaking cool. So yeah, pretty good day for video games here. Love that. So let us know your thoughts down in the comments, and if you and any all of those games right there. But first, very down to girth came in with the 10. Says just some normal innocent support for some normal innocent men. Steph Blabs is greater than Blabs Prime. Okay, beware of Blabs Prime. She's coming for you, and she's gonna hang you by your toenails. All right.
Be careful.
Thanks for that. Very down to girth. Appreciate that. Minor came in, so let's go, normal men and ladies. You know, I've actually had lots of comments about that in the videos that'll do for the channel. People are like, you have women who watch you. I'm like, yeah, I get it,
Yeah.
but everybody's normal men. You know, like
True.
You know, I think it's fun. Ruddy says, can we keep Steph as our on-the-scene reporter? Ooh,
Sounds
fun.
good idea.
Fun.
I think we can find a role for Steph in one way. I think we can find a role for her somehow. Minor says, Vera, is there Baba Yaga? Oh, is there Baba Yaga or Boogeyman? There you go.
I guess so.
Man, memers, get on that. Get Vera's face on what's his name? The Boogeyman. Why am I blanking on this? I'm having a senior moment right now. John Wick, of course. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
You got
Vera.
it.
Yeah, there you go. That's
You
fighting
got
through it right there. Sometimes the brain doesn't work like it used to, Vera.
No, that's okay.
You Ate My Rice says, free to play Concord. How are they going to monetize it? More unappealing skins for the unappealing characters? Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to that very shortly. Vimaran says, oh, let's keep Steph Craig. Can we please? I'm sure she would be friends with Blabs. Hi, Vera. Steph has done a great job this week. And Godzilla's Greaser came in, says, the Joker may have disappointed us last week, but Art the Clown sure didn't this week. Terrifier 3 is a must for slasher fans. All right, Godzilla.
That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing a lot of people like that one.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before. What is he talking about, Steph?
You've never heard of Terrifier?
What's that?
It's a series of movies. They're like clown slashers.
Okay. I'm not a big like slasher guy. Never have been. I don't like, like there's enough craziness going on in the world. I don't like to go see movies and feel tense while watching them. That's just me. But I know
Fair.
a lot of, I know that like I saw it in theater.
It was good.
It was really
I
good.
liked it.
Yeah. But the entire time you're like, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't really feel like that. So,
Less soy, Craig.
less soy in me. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know. Well, like I said, it's just weird and spooky and stuff. I like like when was the last time you went to a haunted house? Have you guys been to a haunted house recently? Last year, Steph? You did?
Yeah, I
I
go
did
every year.
Yeah, I did all of the Halloween Horror Nights last year. I'm forced into them. So like I'm hearing that Terrifier 3 is good. Will I go watch it myself? No, because I don't like scary movies. I stay far away from them. But yeah, I'm forced into the haunted houses in order to film them, and that's
Yeah,
fun.
fair.
They're fun.
Vera,
One year, was this all last year? I don't even remember. I ran into the wall at one house. And then I did it again in another house because something popped out at me, and me and another person ran into the wall, and then we almost crumpled down. I tripped in another house. I run through them. I can't.
Yeah, I get
I
that.
run through them.
see, I could see Vera being the complete opposite of just taking her extra slow time and waiting.
Yep,
through
I
and
do.
You're like, come get it, get it.
Slow and steady wins the race.
I saw a reel of the 13th door or 16th floor, something like that, of people going saying this is me before that haunted house, 13th floor. So I don't remember what it's called. And then when it's done, this one guy like they can touch you and you have to sign a waiver before it. Like one guy got shaved, his head got shaved, and he's like, this is me after
Wait, what?
Yeah, and they turn him around and his head is shaved in the back. Yeah.
This is the 13th floor.
I can't remember what the haunted house was, but it was like the 13th door, 13th floor, something like that, or 17th something. I don't even know. It had a number in it. That's all I know. 13th. And I mean, the guy was traumatized. 13th gate, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe.
But he was traumatized afterwards. Yeah. When I was younger, me and my best friend and her boyfriend at the time, we went to a haunted house together. And I was the third wheel, and she was like, we'll put Steph in the front because she knows how I am.
Yeah.
And at one point I got in the middle. I was sandwiched between them because I didn't want to be in the front anymore. And we came out of the haunted house, and her boyfriend was wearing a white shirt, and we've been friends for years and years and years. My face was stamped on his shirt. Because of my makeup, my face was stamped on his shirt, and we found out when we got back to their house. Yeah, he was like, "What is this?" My face was stamped on it. Oh.
Nice. Well, I think that. Did we lose Steph, or is that me? Okay. Oh, it's Steph. Okay,
it's Steph.
Well, I think I would legit pay to send both of you together through a haunted house, but just to see the 180-degree.
It really would be. It would be.
And to see Steph's face plastered into Vera's shirt.
Yeah.
As she
I'll protect you. Don't worry.
You see a step-sized hole in the wall.
Well, maybe we can set that up. Well, Missing Jin came in, says someone could write a book on the industry's decline. It comes because it could become a bestseller, unlike the games that would be mentioned. Thanks, appreciate that. That's actually a really strong idea. That's great. All right, we see all your super chats, all your direct donations. We're going to read every single one of them throughout the duration of the show. But we got a lot to talk about today, so we have no dilly-dallying around to do. So let's get into it. It's time for my favorite segment, your favorite segment, everybody in the world's favorite segment. It is time for Hard News. Hard News. All right, so I'll tell you what. We're going to start off with a little bit of interesting news today. I don't know if this is real, and if this is real, what are we doing? What are we doing? If I can quote Beardo, what are we doing here? What are we doing? I don't understand this, and this is accurate. I've lost all faith in pretty much everything. And the Hawk Tuah girl started off as a nice little meme. You know, it's like cute. Hey, good for her. She got a 15 minutes of fame, and now she's riding that fame apparently to a $5 million contract with Kick.
Imagine the guy who recorded the clip not getting any interaction at all whatsoever, and then she's out here making apparently $5 million deals.
Couple that with the Lieutenant Dan guy who apparently got a $2 million deal.
Right.
Which, like, what is Kick doing?
Well, I think a lot of people are bringing up his past now because just a few months ago, he had tried to light a woman on fire.
Yep.
So they're like, well, maybe you guys shouldn't be giving deals to people that you don't know anything about.
That's right.
Mhm.
54-year-old Joseph Malinowsk went viral for refusing to leave his boat in the Tampa area ahead of Hurricane Milton. There's an open criminal case over whether or not his boat even belongs to him. So the boat that he was like, it's like, okay. He's also been arrested for battery against a law enforcement officer, drug possession, and attempting to break in and entering. He got into an argument with a woman on a bench. He approached the woman and poured gasoline on the bench when she was sitting there and literally set it on fire. You know, and he's got a rap sheet a mile long.
Mhm.
But I'll say this, you know, like, look, I don't blame him. I don't blame him for being offered that money. They offered it to him. You know, they didn't do their research on it, and
Mhm.
you know, I don't blame him at all. I know I blame him for trying to light a woman on fire. Obviously,
Yeah, of course.
you know, but Kick's the ones who's throwing around money like it's nothing.
Well, it makes sense because they're owned by a mega gambling company. So they're just trying to spend as much money as possible. They throw money around like there's no tomorrow.
Man, like, what are they? I'm just saying, we're seeing some pretty good success over here on YouTube. You think they want to pry us away from you know, maybe throw a couple mil over our way? We'll take it, and they can hire everybody full time. We'll just go ham. It'll be great.
Yeah.
Man. Well, that's interesting to say
I
the
hope
least.
they would do more research on people that they choose to throw money at, but they don't. Hawk Tuah, I actually saw a video the other day that saying that Hawk Tuah, someone was watching her podcast, and it's boring. It's very boring. I think like day 2, she had someone on her podcast, and she just talked about how viral she went, and you know how crazy it was. And then day 3, she talked about how viral she went and how crazy it was. And it's just very, very boring. I think like day 4, it was her and her friend had a conversation with that, had a lot of like inside jokes that no one could really participate in. And it's so boring that it's to the point where now even that has become a meme. So people are watching her podcasts and filming themselves watching, like in groups of people, like, you know, they're all together. They'll put the camera to the podcast, and then they'll put it towards this huge group of people, and they'll just laugh like mockingly,
Right.
like it's funny, but it's not. So even her podcast has now become a meme, and they think that her popularity will last as long as that meme lasts.
Oh
Well,
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because
You-
it's just they don't understand. And even like if you look at the comments in her podcast, it's the comments have taken on a whole different form. Like they're memed. So as long as people have interest in doing that, like that's that's as long as like her podcast will last. The
Right.
her popularity will last as long as the meme does.
Yeah, and this is what happens when you have individuals who are just willing to throw money at basically absolutely nothing, because it's not like she had an online personality and now they face a problem where they have this podcast that she's doing, but she has no kind of stage presence. She doesn't know how to speak. She doesn't know how to interact with guests. Like, she doesn't have any sort of background in that, but ultimately her viewership could go to zero and Kick just would not care because of who they're owned by.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, you mentioned the waning popularity. If you look at her channel itself, you can see obviously there's the looky lures who are going to pop in the first episode, right? 2.1 million, right? Second one dropped over 50% to 721,000, which, by the way, these are banger numbers. Okay.
Oh yeah, of course.
So if you got it and you had a sponsorship here and here, that's great, right? And they're still killing it, right? But if you see the gradual drop off, it's dropped off 90% since the first episode. And that was a month ago. So the podcast is, another month from now, she'll be doing, we should be beating her in viewership on a day-to-day basis. So we'll see how that plans out. So
very steep decline.
Yeah.
She has JoJo Siwa on her podcast. That's her latest guest.
Oh,
that's controversial all in itself.
Oh God, that is just not a good idea.
JoJo Siwa. Man, okay, all right. That's the fact that I know who JoJo Siwa is really upsetting to me. Just
I agree.
I love the comments though. I broke my edging streak to watch Toxicity.
Oh my God.
Oh my
Please
God.
bring
Well,
Kim Jong-un for the next podcast. I'm infertile from eating scented candles. So it's just a meme. People are just coming in to meme it.
Yeah.
Well, she is. Doesn't really matter. She's rich.
Yeah,
she's rich,
Right.
like rich. So signing this deal to do the podcast, signing if this Kick deal is accurate, $5 million. I mean, do you ever have to work again a day in your life?
No, and they haven't confirmed it, but it wouldn't shock me just because they just want to spend money.
Well, spend it here, guys.
spend it over here.
Oh, it's ridiculous. All right, we got a meme of the day here. This is from Vera Dark. Please tell me about what's happening here. What am I looking at?
Well, as you can see, Starfield, of course, recently came out with their DLC, which I have to rant about for a second. I played through the base game of Starfield, and I hadn't touched it since release. And I went to load up my save, and classic Bethesda fashion, I lost everything. I lost my outposts, I lost my inventory, I lost my cargo holds, and I was generous. I gave Starfield a 7 out of 10 when it came out, and I said, it's got potential. But Bethesda, listen, you've made some great games in the past. You guys suck. And I am so triggered over the Starfield DLC now. But the meme is hilarious because it just goes to show what companies are more worried about when putting things in their games. It's like Star Wars. Star Wars Outlaws featured no like hot Twi'lek strippers, and everybody was so upset over that. And now, as you can see, they have decided to put these fat gay guys in rubber suits dancing around to techno at the club.
This picture gets worse the more you look at it. It really does. Obviously you got these, I don't know, like just the idea that
it's so bad.
This singular guy watching back here, and he's kind of like questioning his life out in space or whatever. Then you got the thong here, which, by the way, doesn't look like it actually makes it all the way down between his nether regions here, which is interesting.
No. The helmet really reminds me of Witcher Season 1 in the ball sack armor. It's just, it feels very reminiscent of that.
Well, this is video games.
Yeah.
This is going to go tie into the Elon Musk stuff that we're going to talk about later about like how the future looks. Some people, this is what they want the future to look like, And I mean, I don't. This is not a future that I want to be a part of.
No, I'm out. I give up.
No, thank you.
Steph, Halloween is coming up. I just want to throw it out there. Halloween outfit?
Nope, you won't catch me in that.
No,
I'd rather dress up as the Hawktua girl.
Okay. Let's be realistic about this. I do have an idea for what I want to do for our Halloween show. But how much you think, like, how much would it take, do you think? to put me in this outfit and stream the Halloween show with this full custom outfit.
Dude, I would go no lower than like $500. You have
Well,
to
the
put that together.
question is that is it like chest up or is it full body standing up for 2 hours?
No,
That's the
You
real
have to at least-
question.
you have to at least stand up and dance,
Right.
a couple times during the stream. It's
Do
got
the
to be the
entire show
full
like
body
this.
outfit.
Yeah.
full body outfit. Let's see. So just taking a realistic look at that. Full body outfit with weird thong on top of it.
No, we were going
Lighter.
to see record decline in viewership.
yeah, for sure. Blue and pink with spider arms coming from behind, and of course the giant ball on my head.
I'd say 3K.
Man,
Ooh.
I'm
Yeah.
yeah,
5? 3 to
'cause-
5.
Right. Well, maybe we can fundraise that. We'll see. Listen, it's all about getting creative, but we do need to make a decision here pretty soon because that outfit could take 2 weeks to produce. So
True.
We'll see how it happens. So, man, let's go. Poppy Chulo came and says, I work on AC units all day and I always tune in while working. Highlight of my day. Thanks for all the content. Poppy Chulo, let's go. Hey, be safe out there. Enjoy your AC units. And I'll tell you what, man, you guys do the Lord's work out there, because as a numbskull who has had to call out the AC person a couple times, I hate how much you charge. So, but good for you. Oh man, Hell came and says, it was on that day that Side Strollers was banned in 7 different countries. Love that. Gusium came in and says, I would not mind male strippers if they're actually hot, Chippendale like. Also, Craig Asmongold said the future will be non-binary, so accepted. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Asmongold. Appreciate that for your kind words and your idiocy. The Ghost of Pinochet says, I will play Concord if I can have a rocket power nil-nil launcher for a character weapon. If it's gonna be gay, it needs to be absurdly gay. Thank you, Ghost of Pinochet. Yeah, like just lean into it. You know,
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Furious Dan, thank you for that. Appreciate that. And Norm came in and says, so Lieutenant Dan is your average Florida man. Pretty much. And 13th Gate is in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Is that the one you're talking about, Steph? 13th Gate?
13th Gate, yes.
Okay.
13th Gate. Yeah. Yeah.
Nathan says, leave it up to Starfield to present an accurate representation of every nude beach I've been to. What? I don't think that they all are wearing this at the nude beach. Just going to throw it out there, Nathan, because I used to know a raver. Long story. Thank you, Nathan. Appreciate that. It's good stuff. Also, Honey Badger says, is Steph the new CEO? This is just a trial week to see if she fits in.
Yeah, I'm down. I'll support her.
Steph, you going to be the CEO of Side Scrollers?
I'll be the CEO of Side Scrollers.
Okay,
yes.
Sounds good. I am actively looking. I have a few conversations that I had in the next couple of weeks, so we'll see how that goes. People ask, like, why? Like, this is why, because I'm here doing this show, and I start prepping for this show at like 8:30 in the morning, and we go till 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So I don't have any time for business. So I need to hire somebody to handle up the business. Speaking of business, let's talk about a business decision that was made by Activision in Call of Duty. Do you recall when they put in their new toxic voice chat detectors? Do you recall this? That was a story not too long ago, Vera?
Yep. Every company's doing it now.
Yeah. Well, the censorship tool is proving to be effective, as according to Culture Crave over here, they say that Call of Duty has seen a 67% reduction in quote, and I think the word toxic is thrown around too much, toxic voice chat with their new detection tools. Black Ops 6 will have the voice chat moderation and in-game text chat moderation at launch.
My problem with the word toxic is that anything could mean toxic to these people. I could call you an idiot and they could say, oh, that's toxic. You have to have your account suspended or be banned. And we've seen so many companies doing this recently, like, of course, Tencent's been in the news a lot because of Ubisoft, but Tencent owns 100% of Riot now. Riot has in-game moderation tools. We know Xbox had set up an AI. We of course see that kind of spilling out into Activision now, and it's unfortunate because we already have tools to combat toxicity, like that they call toxicity. If you feel uncomfortable, you can leave the game, you can mute people, you can block people, and it should just be as simple as that. But no, they always want to push the limits and they want to continue to censor people, which, in my opinion, shouldn't be happening.
Well, it is. So 2/3 of people have are now being censored for saying you're a duty head, and that's where we're at right now. Steph, what's the worst thing you've ever said in a game lobby?
Oh no. I've never been in a game lobby. The worst things that I've ever said are during the Mario Kart streams. So I think it's like, fuck you, Jeremy. Like that's it.
Yeah. Let's just say let's just say as long as Microsoft does not keep my logs from my Xbox 360 days, there's nothing that I could be canceled over. But if they have those, I'm canceled. I'm toast. I'm out of here. Sorry guys. Internet, I gotta leave it.
I thought it'd be funny to pull up some Call of Duty trash talking lobbies compilations.
They're so good. I miss these days.
While you've been talking, I've been listening to you and trying to filter what they're saying in my ear. I don't think I can put any of this on YouTube.
Nope, you cannot.
But that doesn't mean we're not gonna try. Let's see what we got. Here we go. Let's just see what happens here. How long before we hear something that will get us demonetized?
20 seconds.
Ooh, I was gonna say 10 seconds. Okay.
I was gonna say 5.
Ooh.
Okay. All right, let's see what happens. We're 6 minutes 11 seconds in. Chat, how long before we hear something that will get us the yellow check mark? Here we go. Let's find out.
The hell is this guy saying, man? I'm not gonna bother talking shit back to this little kid, man. Waste my time.
Whatever, you fucking egg-roll eating bastard.
Oh God.
There you go.
I mean, I don't think that's gonna get us demonetized, but it is,
Surely.
Yeah. We'll see. It's the good old days, as they say.
They really are.
The good old days, right? Well, no more good old days when it comes to Call of Duty anymore. It's a shame. So, hey, Delta came in and says people were paying and signing waivers to get physically harmed on private island horror tours. Meanwhile, others get the authentic experience by attending stuff like Fire Festival. Thank you, Delta. Appreciate that. And he followed up and says, Craig, did you like Howard Stern? And I'm in my 30s, and I remember randomly seeing him on public access when I would wake up in the middle of the night. But I thought he was a homeless bum who smoked with his friends. Never knew he was still relevant. Howard Stern, no, I've never been a big Howard Stern fan. I do like the movie Private Parts, though. Did you guys ever see the movie Private Parts? It was like the movie about Howard Stern, made by Howard Stern, that was released in the late 90s.
I have not.
It's a funny little film. But if you go back and watch that, I would say that Howard Stern today would look at that film and be like, I can't believe I said those things. And be a little whiny baby.
So sad.
Yeah. So it is what it is. So, all right, man, let's go. We got some. Okay, let's talk about this. This is next level insanity. Last night, there was all this talk. It came out of nowhere, really. Elon Musk was like, hey, we're doing this presentation later today. Tesla's doing this presentation. And they dropped some stupid, insane bombs on the world last night. This is nuts. They introduced the T-1000, literally marching out. This is from Elon Musk. These T-1000 like guys, I don't even know. These are supposed to be like personal assistants. Okay, just as we're watching this, we saw actual video of this not too long ago. Actually, they showed some of this kind of in a Tesla, but we didn't really know what it was in Tesla HQ. But now we know what it is, and this is supposed to be some like personal assistant / friend or whatever. Just as we're watching this, Vera, what are your thoughts on seeing this?
I mean, pretty fucking insane. I gotta be honest. Like, I love the idea of what technology can become. My only thing is it's kind of, Elon Musk. I like Elon Musk and what he's doing with platforms like X, but he has had a lot of failed projects in the past, like the Hyperloop. So will this go awry? Probably. That's just what happens when we're talking about new technology, though. But to be fair, Boston Dynamics has been working on robots like this for forever at this point. So it's not a particularly new concept. It's just that he's bringing it into the eye of, I think, just average people because he's got such a big social media presence now.
Yeah, I see in the chat saying we're creating our future destroyers, right?
Yeah.
I think there is an element to people who are like, I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah.
But the idea of it being an assistant, it says, are you paying, this is from Dexterity, are you paying $20,000 to $30,000 for a robot to do house chores? Here, let's listen to this 37-second clip here.
But fundamentally, at scale, the Optimus robot, you should be able to buy an Optimus robot for, I think, probably $20,000 to $30,000 long term. So, and what can it do? It'll be able to do anything you want. So it can be a teacher, babysit your kids. It can walk your dog, mow your lawn, get the groceries, just be your friend, serve drinks. Whatever you can think of, it will do.
That last line is pretty terrifying. Whatever you can think of, it will do.
The online meme of the sex robots is in the close future, chat. Get ready. Start saving money.
Yeah. We're going to see some of the things in here that actually Elon mentioned in this video, but the idea of having a robot babysit my children, I don't really know how I feel about that. Just personally, but a friend of the show, Kirsha, she's going to be on next week joining us. She mentioned this, and I do think there's validity to this. It's 20 to 30K for a robot that will take care of a ton of around the house tasks and even be able to cook. That sounds cheap as hell for the amount of time it'll free up. Hell, I'd even beta test it to see if it works or ends up killing me.
It's just kind of giving Cherry 2000, the 80s movie about like sex robots, and then like Isaac Asimov iRobot. I'm very cautiously optimistic. Like, obviously this was always a direction that technology was going to go. And again, there have been certain companies that have been trying to develop these for a long time. But I mean, 20 to 30 grand, if you have the money, really isn't that much. And you know that there's going to be tons of people that are going to buy these, even just for the memes. Like, imagine all of the Twitch streamers and the content creators who are just going to have one sitting there like, go get me a glass of water. And it's going to be a funny meme for a while, but in my opinion, it could definitely easily go awry.
I'm going to take it a step further. I may buy one to be a Twitch streamer. That's the way to go.
I mean, that is kind of also a point. That's true.
Like, could you imagine the amount of data that some crazy bot over here playing games to perfection, by the way, because, it's a robot. And
well, yeah.
I'm just saying, why not give it a go? I think that'd be an interesting way to make it happen. But
that's kind of like Deep Blue versus Garry Kasparov, the world famous chess match. It's also kind of similar to that. You're going to have these robots who are going to be able to do these insane things that are going to potentially dominate spaces like things like content creation. Yeah. You know that there's going to be people who buy them to set them up to see what else can happen.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
that's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this announcement was iRobot. I can't believe how smooth and slick moving these things are. I wasn't expecting it to be so smooth with their movements, because I've seen, the robots that the robots that other companies have been developing, and they're not as smooth. These are really smooth. Have you seen the video of the robot pouring drinks and taking photos?
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I have seen the video of the.
Oh my god!
Check this bad boy out. It's like having a conversation. Just the idea that they dressed it up as well is also
I
a
know.
little
Yeah.
people will 100% take this to the next level and put their
Oh, yeah.
little in weird outfits and stuff, and the robot's gonna be like, I don't feel comfortable with this. Please stop dressing me up.
Yeah.
No, you will feel comfortable with this. You will like it. But yeah, you see it here over here.
See that? Yes.
You want to get a photo?
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it. Little video. Hey.
The voice of it.
Well, there's actually a better. You can see the voice or hear the voice a little bit better here.
Thank you, sir.
Have a great rest of your night. You as well. Thank you. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody.
It asks for his ID.
The thing is that
Wow.
it does look super impressive, but there are videos online of the Boston Dynamic robots like jumping and doing tricks and doing really advanced stuff too. So I think that it's very cool, but it's definitely very worrying that so many companies right now are trying their very best to not only create these things, but also find a way to make them affordable enough for, I wouldn't necessarily say an average person to have them, because $20,000 to $30,000 is quite the investment, but you're starting to get to a price where if they drop that over the next couple of years, because of course they have like new models and the older ones get cheaper, then an average person may even be able to get their hands on them in like 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
Pokey brings up a good point. Pokey, thank you, says, I'm in a wheelchair. I would love to beta test Elon's robots to see if it would make my life easier. There you go. It's actually a great way to look at it right there. And Pokey, hey, what a positive mindset right there. Well, you can definitely have some conversations here. Here's an example of the conversation you mentioned, Steph.
Optimus. It's insane. It's even talking. Hi to my friend John.
John? Where's John?
Right here.
Oh, hello, John.
How are you?
How you doing?
That's crazy. I'm talking to a robot. From San Jose. Probably from where you were born in Silicon Valley.
Wonderful. Where do you live in San Jose? Do you live in Almond Valley, or do you live in Santa Teresa area?
No, I live in Los Gatos.
Los Gatos. Oh, wonderful.
Yeah.
Nice area.
Where do you live?
It's the thing that I think is probably the scariest about it is that the voice is kind of pleasant. It's not like, I'm a robot, I'm a Tesla robot. It's not how we traditionally think of robots. It's like, oh, hey, how are you doing? It's great to see you.
It's a voice that makes you feel comfortable.
Right.
It's a human voice. It's almost too human, to the point where like I'm putting on my tinfoil hat and thinking all of these robots have to be a person, like somewhere in the back looking out through a camera and speaking to these people.
Yeah.
Because it just sounds way too human. I don't know. It doesn't sound like a robot or something like it's.
How long?
I don't know. It sounds way too human.
Yeah.
How long before somebody has relations with said robot and or wants to marry said robot?
Oh, as soon as they come out, that's it. Like that's probably going to be one of the first things that you'll hear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I mean,
yeah.
Going back to this, the voice.
Considering right now, like Gen Alpha and even I guess like Gen Z to a point, they're so disconnected because they're always on their phones. They're always speaking to people through social media. They really don't have very many or very good social skills like out in public. This is gonna make it worse if we start adding robots to the mix. Like it's gonna end up being like their only friends or the ones that they feel comfortable talking to are going to be these robots.
Yeah, I mean, I give props to Elon. He's trying to bring Asimov's stories to life, which I think is cool. But yeah, I mean, could definitely go very badly, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the overall thought here is that everyone's like, oh, it's interesting, but
This was like, here, share my screen. This was one of the pictures that was shared a lot yesterday.
Yeah, of course.
Yep.
Yep. Revealed women will be having more sex with robots than men by 2025. That's from the
This is an
Sun.
article from 2016.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
It's happening.
and my brother actually posted this over there. He says this is going to be great because then we can have more. We can spend all of our time staring at our phones, which will be great.
Yeah.
Now, I want to go back to the voice really fast because it is. You're right. It's like welcoming in a weird way. It's like this AI algorithm of like, oh, okay, and I guarantee that's like the default voice. There's got to be probably some Australian accent that some ladies will lust over. Maybe an Irish accent, be able to speak Chinese or Japanese, whatever. But just listen to this a little bit more.
There is. Where do you live?
I live in Palo Alto at the current moment.
Think about what you just heard,
He
though.
said the fact that
Bingo.
he said
Yes, you're right. Exactly. That's programmed in. You're 100% right, Steph. The idea that, and it has human vernacular and human misspeak.
Mannerisms, yeah.
Yes. It's amazing.
That's why I honestly feel like it's just some person speaking through the robot somewhere else, because he said And also, if you compare this voice to the bartender voice, they're two totally different people, or like they're two totally different voices.
Yeah.
Damn it! I closed the bartender tab already. The video on that, so I can't pull it up. But
I love the rock paper scissors one. That one was very, very funny to me.
I didn't. Who tweeted that out? Was that Elon or?
I don't remember, but it was basically just a video of him doing rock paper scissors. I'll see if I can find it.
Sure. Well, speaking of our boy George, who has been our boy George, who has been on the show, G Prime 85. He came out with this. He's a phenomenal artist along the way, and he's like shows them releasing the T1000 with the crazy red eyes, and then rock paper scissors. It's like, yeah, all right. everyone just clapping like a seal because of it. So
I put it in private chat. The rock paper scissors clip, very, very interesting. That's for sure.
Okay, I got you. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. So this is the robot playing rock paper scissors. And it's like, oh, good try. Here we go. It's like, okay.
Yep.
You're kind of my best friend, robot. I kind of want to like.
So weird.
You want to go play some soccer or go see a movie with me? It'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm very curious. Now I'm invested. We get 14 seconds. I want to see what happens here.
You got it. You win.
He's even like, woo, good job.
Hooray, you won, you stupid human. Yay.
I'm telling you, it's the voices are different. They're different.
Gosh, that's crazy. Well, in addition to that, the ultimate demise of humanity that was announced last night, it was also announced the Robo van was announced. Did you see the Robo van?
The toaster? Yeah, I saw the toaster.
Is that what people are going for? The toaster?
It really looks like a toaster.
All right, well, let's check. Steph, have you seen the toaster?
I have seen the toaster.
Okay, so let's check it out here. Here's Elon announcing it as this is it's like some super car that fits 20 people. Says
the PlayStation 5 Pro over here.
I said this earlier today on X, and I stand by this. I think that a lot of this was inspired by, if you went to like Epcot and did like Disney's Epcot in the 80s, or you watched the Jetsons, that's like, I feel like a lot of the design here was really forced into this, or the kind of sleek style, very chromish, if you will. It's a really unique look. I mean, have I ever seen a car like that? No. Can it go over any humps? No. Like, I can't imagine going over a speed bump in that. Like, it's so low set to the ground. It's lower than a crazy high speed vehicle. But I will say this: the interior of it looks awesome.
It's like a party bus.
Yeah.
Right, man.
It looks very Art Deco.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Really sharp looking. The lighting on it is really nice. It has that blue versus orange futuristic look you see in Tron. Really, really cool looking vehicle. Now, notice no seatbelts here. So Yeah, but the interior is
Well,
really,
I
really
don't think
good.
public transportation or even school buses have seatbelts. So
Yeah, no.
Well, maybe they're not going with this. I don't know. Is that it's designed for private use as well? So maybe
Right, that's true.
I do have some Mormon
Yeah.
friends who have a lot of kids, so maybe they get a a super
How long
Tesla.
before some fat person is like, it's not inclusive?
Yeah, that
They
is
don't fit
also
in the
true.
seat.
I guarantee you can go online right now and find somebody complaining about how it's not inclusive.
The seats are too
Right
small.
now. Yes. But they also announced the Cyber Cab, which to me, from a visualization, is probably the least appealing of them. Did you see the Cyber Cab here with the? I guess there's no. Yeah, it's I don't know. It's kind of weird. So, kind of looks like Kit in a weird way. That Kit from
Kind
Knight
of.
Rider.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Michael.
It
The
just
weird-
looks
the-
like an upside down boat to me. It just looks like you tipped a boat over. It just is so bland. I don't know.
I don't mind
The
it.
doors are cool though, obviously.
Mhm.
The interior looks pretty cool.
Right. What's the one thing you miss here in this? There's no steering wheel.
No
Nope.
steering wheel. Yeah.
There's no steering wheel. It's all autonomous. The idea that it's just supposed to you get in, it just takes you there. Man, we're close, man. Like there was this time, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years ago, where we were looking at things, especially when you look back at like the 80s, and we looked at what Back to the Future 2. We're going to be in the future in 2015. There's going to be flying cars and all this stuff.
Mhm.
And we got there and we're like, okay, there's no flying cars. What the hell? But I think, and people hate on Elon all they want. They can hate on him, whatever. But we're talking about a dude who wants to put people on Mars. We're talking about people who are talking about self-driving vehicles.
Yeah.
Like this dude, he's doing good stuff. And people will call him an idiot. We're going to see that here in a little bit. People, oh, he's an idiot. Like this dude is not an idiot. He's the opposite of an idiot. And he's forging a path for people that I sure as hell never thought would be possible.
I
It's
think
crazy.
the thing with Elon that I do obviously respect is his ambition. The problem is following through with projects and not leaving them in the dust. Like the Hyperloop, for example. He talks a lot of game. He says, oh, we're so close to this being ready for production or ready to go. And then it just kind of falls through. But he has a lot of ambition, which I have to give him. And he has done a lot of good work in the past. I'm not trying to completely crap on him. But at the same time, he doesn't have a perfect track record.
Sure,
Mhm.
totally get that.
I mean,
I'll tell you what,
he's being very innovative, and
Yeah,
I think
he
it's
is,
lost
definitely.
now.
Right.
It's lost right now, and people are making fun of him because the designs look stupid. But you have to look past the designs and actually think about like what he's trying to do and help with. People make fun of even the Cybertruck. People make fun of that thing all day long.
Oh my god, the
Um,
Cybertruck to me just looks like you peeled a potato with a knife.
I
It
feel
just looks
like Elon,
terrible.
like we're still in 2025. Elon's living in like 3050. Like he
Yeah.
wants that's how he wants to live right now. And I
but you
think
need
that a lot
people
of
like
people are
that.
just, they're like, no, this is too unfamiliar. And
Right.
so because it's
It
too
makes people
unfamiliar, I'm
uncomfortable,
just,
which
yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna make fun of it, and I don't like it. It's way too unfamiliar. So I don't like it. But they're not looking at it like as, it's very innovative. He's only looking to do good for humanity.
Yeah,
They
it's
don't
just
see that
unfortunate
part of
that
it.
it's just unfortunate that so many of his projects have failed, which
Mhm.
does give people ammunition, of course, to use against him, and rightfully so. We need to call out people when they make big promises and they don't follow through. But I do agree that he is very ambitious and that is, a big selling point to him. He's able to sell things. He's a good salesman and he does have vision.
Mhm.
I think that, when it comes to Elon, and the chat has mentioned this, not everybody has a perfect track record. If you bat 1,000 in business, then you're not thinking big enough. And I think that Elon Musk thinks really big, and you're going to have failures along the way, especially when you think as big as he does. He has the Boring Company and, all these different things that he's trying to do to, in his words, better humanity. You have to think big. And I think y'all nailed it. The idea that you have to make people uncomfortable. Like these designs, you go, whoa, okay. But at some point, there has to be some level of discomfort.
Yeah.
And I think that's what Elon is doing right now. And I honestly, I appreciate it. So,
Yeah.
good stuff.
I think
Also,
a lot of inventors were like that, went through that with society before society finally accepted it. I mean, look at where we are now. Everything has been invented in one way or another. And so I think it's just going to take some time, but people will eventually get there.
Yeah, I see some people mention about the Cybertruck. You can't do like real world work on it, and I agree, Retro dude. Like it's not a practical. Like the idea of it being called a truck is really dumb.
It is,
but it is what it is. Gear, look at Gear. Says hello everyone, and hello again, Vera. Blue to make it visible, Craig. Oh, and make it bold. Hey, Gear. How's that for you? How's that for you, Gear? That's bold and blue. Bold. That's wonderful. Gear, thank you so much for your support, and congratulations on your wonderful support of these bazongas right there. Congratulations. Thank you, Gear, for that support. That is wonderful. And while I'm putting Gear on the wall, Steph, would you mind reading Joey for me, please?
Yes. Joey for 20. I can't help but like jump along with her. It's so ridiculous. Joey for 20. I see AI and robot technology advancing so much that it makes me think that Terminator is not so crazy.
It's not.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's terrifying. We are all going to be eliminated by PC Master Race when it's all said and done. The Arch is going to have the last laugh along the way because he's PC Master Race and he's just going to be giggling as we're all.
PC is Master Race. PC's so good.
Montana Mauser came in and says, hey, coming out of left field, but back in the day, popular entertainment could have moral lessons and drop a Bible verse every now and then. If there is time, your thoughts on normalizing morality and entertainment again? I don't know. Can you send me some examples of that on X? I think the best way to do that is to find somebody that already does that, right? Like Melanie does that with some of her content. And I think she's a great resource for that. I don't anticipate us dropping Bible verses anytime on Side Scrollers, but we hopefully, just by being a normal man that preaches the idea of civility and being nice to people. So
yeah,
I think like with entertainment, popular entertainment coming out of Hollywood would have to be moral, and right now they're anything but moral. They haven't, So if you want it in your entertainment, you're going to have to go looking somewhere other than Hollywood because there's no morality there. And I would be shocked if they come out with a movie that teaches, really good lessons. That's why I was kind of actually shocked with the Wild Robot movie because I loved it. It was such a great movie, and I think that it's something that will stand sort of like the test of time because of the lessons that you learn in there. You can take something as a child watching that movie, and then you can watch it later as an adult, take some different lessons from that movie, and you can watch it again when you become a parent and look at that movie in a totally different light. It's such a great movie, and those are like little rare gems that come out of Hollywood because Hollywood is just not a moral place right now.
Yeah, and that's the thing with older Disney movies, like going back to the Disney Renaissance. It wasn't just, you have a man and a woman who have to go through this crazy adventure. There's a deeper meaning there, like Beauty and the Beast, for example, not just judging a book by its cover. There's little lessons there that ultimately did shape human beings and the way that they acted and the way that they saw other individuals. And it's just compassion that is being that's majorly lacked in a lot of entertainment right now.
I think there's a lot of validity to what you just said, for sure. I do want to show off these last few things though before we move on to our next story. Before we're talking about obviously the idea of whatever. I want to keep talking about these robots, right? But Kratos came in and says Rocky IV had a robot babysitter. The 80s must have been a crazy time to be alive. What was the audience reaction to that part of the movie? Oh, it was the future. You had to be crazy rich to have a robot babysitter. Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, like you look back on the robots in pop culture in the 80s and 90s, I think of the robot that Screech had in Saved by the Bell. They all had the kind of same clunky look. They all printed something out of their chest. They all talk like this, but hey, it's 2024, baby. We got robots pouring drinks for us now. I'm playing tic-tac-toe and rock, paper, scissors and stuff. So,
yep.
You know what the best thing that came out of that presentation was?
What?
these movie posters. Look at this. Isn't that awesome?
I do like it. Yeah.
Yeah. Driver. Yeah, obviously a takeoff of Back to the Future from Tesla.
Yeah.
Then we saw this one as well with AI, which
Oh,
is kind
wow.
of terrifying. At the same time, I like it.
Yeah.
The robot touching the human hand with some sort of electrical shock. Maybe that's how we're all going to die.
Maybe.
It's just touch me. And just all get electrocuted from the T1000.
Did you see the first comment underneath that? It said like Tesla Production Studios or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Movies, Elon Musk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay.
Tesla Studio Pictures. That's what it says. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
From
Like,
maybe.
I know he wants to do a phone, the X phone.
Yeah, that's true.
You think?
I bet there's probably 100 different concepts of things that they're working on at Tesla that probably 80% of them we'll never see. Right? They'll all be
100%.
Yeah, it's just through research and development and such. Crazy time to be alive. All right. Speaking of crazy time to be alive, let's move on to our next story and the craziness associated with Concord.
Again.
Yep, we're here. The biggest flop in video game history is back. I will go and I will continue to preach that. The 500, potentially $600 million loss by Sony after a massive ass kicking by the customers saying, "Nay, friend, we do not want thee," except for me, who came in and bought 2 copies. Which by the way,
I bought one.
Oh, good for you, Bear. She's
did.
rich.
Hey, woo.
I wonder if our value for our Concord is going to go down or up based off of this news, as there are rumors that Concord is coming back, and these rumors are being substantiated by the update on the SteamDB website. And let's go over to Insider Gaming, who this is the first person I saw break this news. Is Concord Concord continues to get updates on Steam, and this is interesting because if you haven't looked on the Concord SteamDB page in the weeks, you've likely missed that has continued to see various updates on Steam over the past few weeks. There have been multiple daily updates on Steam. Since October 6th, the game has seen 20 updates on Steam by various users, such as PM Test and Sony Quay Shipping and Sony Quay, I guess, QUA, or QAE, I guess. It's unknown what the updates are exactly, but there are rumors that the game could be looking to re-release as a free-to-play title. Obviously, we talked about its failure, having less than 700 players at launch, selling less than 25,000 copies, which, by the way, that's to retail. That's not to customers, right? You sell 25,000 copies of physical retail, that's just to the outlets.
Right.
So keep that in mind. Then we saw the game director step down from his position with the 8-year development cycle costing $400 million, potentially more after marketing and such along those lines. So, and if you go to the SteamDB website, you can actually see the updates here, the history. You can see the various changes that have been made to the game along the way, which once again, this has been a constant theme. So Vera, as we scroll down here, your thoughts on the idea of, let's just say it does come back as a free-to-play game.
Yeah. Well,
is there any chance of success?
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I've said this since Concord shut down. I do think that they will bring it back in some capacity just because they have put so much money towards it. They went out of their way to initially, make a publishing deal with Sony when it was just Firewalk and Sony. And then, of course, Sony bought Firewalk. They put a bunch of more money into it. I mean, we're hearing numbers like $500, $600 million. I don't see a way that they completely drop it. And the only thing that they could do is try to directly compete with Overwatch, and that is going free to play, adding loot boxes, adding skins. But I think at this point, if they wanted to relaunch, they would have to completely tweak everything. They'd have to change character models. They would have to change the gameplay elements. They would have to add more maps and enhance the maps. Like, I had streamed Concord, and it was just a very bad experience. It was not good enough. I've played a lot of hero shooters. I've played a lot of FPSs, and it just was lacking so much kind of vavoom. It was lacking substance and something that made it feel like it was different enough for me to want to spend, $40 on it. And I couldn't even imagine, if they relaunched it, how long it would be before they did, if they made all of the changes and implemented all of those new features that I'm proposing. But I don't think that if in a couple of months they relaunched Concord in the state that it was previously when they released it for the 2 weeks it was up, I don't see a way that they could still get people back in game.
Let's throw this out there. I posted something that said, like, okay, what does Concord need to do to become relevant, right? And you mentioned a lot of the, obviously the character models and such, and people, the color scheme was mentioned in my X thread and all sorts, the idea of the color scheme, the character design, and all that stuff, right? Let's just say they do go in and they say, look, we messed up. We're going to have all these characters. The characters going to be reworked. We're going to make them nice. Or let's just say they don't even say that. They just drop it, right? Every single character has a new look to it. It's a more appealing look to it. They drop the pronouns, right? Let's say they rework the color scheme a little bit, whatever, but they keep the gameplay the exact same, okay?
Yeah.
And it's now a free-to-play game, but the characters are attractive and such. What kind of a statement would that be to the activist in the industry that those changes were made? Would that be seen as a big win for people like Grums, Cabrutus, people like us who don't want all this force injection into it? Or would that be I don't know, I would love to hear your thoughts on if something like that was to happen.
I think that it could kind of go either way, because if they say, let's say they relaunched it like completely as it was months ago, I feel like on one hand there would be activists who would praise it and say, oh my god, we actually won, we got them to bring it back. But on the flip side, it would also kind of be a win for content creators like us, just because it goes to show that yet again these companies are brainless. They aren't listening to customers. They're not getting the big picture. And so it just continues to prove our point that a company like Sony is willing to waste a boatload of money, and they still don't understand us and what we actually want. Of course, Sony will never completely drop the DEI from the game, even if they did rework it. But what they could do, and this is what I think is most likely, is the story mode. So we know in the hour-long credits of Concord, they had teams of people working on a more story mode. I think if they do relaunch, they'll relaunch it free. They will have that story mode put out in a couple of those episodes, and then they will phase back in the multiplayer. But they're hoping to get people on the idea of it being more of a single player experience versus the multiplayer esports Overwatch competitor they initially wanted it to be. But I don't think Sony will ever completely drop the DEI, though I think that it would be interesting, because there'd be so many people who would say on one side, like the activists, oh, it's a win for us, but for, content creators like you and I, it's also a win because we're just proving that Sony is fucking brainless.
How much pushback do you think they would see from the activists? Because I think that's like the idea of, especially on X, especially on, pick your social media, the idea that they would see, I can't believe you did this. You clearly don't like, you don't embrace the LGBTQ. You don't like pronouns. How much pushback would they see in their own studios at this decision? Or would somebody actually come in and be like, yo, our game failed. Like,
right,
we lost $500 million. Suck it up, Buttercup. It's time to make some money.
Yeah, well, if they did implement changes like to the character designs and to the story, I think that they would receive internally a boatload of backlash. I think that they would kind of be in chaos, because there would be so many people who said, why are you caving into the, the anti-woke crowd? Because that's, of course, what they love to call us. But if they just relaunched it in the state that it originally released in, I think that those people would just see it as a massive win. Like, oh, we owned the chuds again. We won again. We got it relaunched. And they'd see it as a big W. But I don't think that, in all honesty they would ever completely rework the character designs and change the maps because they just don't listen to us.
Okay, let's say they do relaunch it, right? They relaunch it and they just make subtle changes, right? They keep the same character design and such, but they release it as free to play, right? Let's say it's pretty much the entire, it's all the same. Just the monetization structure of the game is different, right? They relaunch it. They see 1,000 players play it at peak. Let's say they double the number of players, 1,500 players, right?
Yeah.
But it still fails massively, right? What does that say? What does that say about the game? What does that say to the activist? I think that speaks more to the customers saying like, no, we have already seen the game, right?
Yep.
We don't want anything to do with it. You can even give us the game for free and we have no desire to play it, right?
Yeah. There's been very few situations where developers either take their games offline and they relaunch them, or over several years, they make changes that are positive, like No Man's Sky, for example, like Cyberpunk 2077. They were games that did not launch in a positive state, but after years of hard work and effort, they made them into really good to great experiences. But Firewalk does not seem to be filled with people who genuinely want to make a good product. They just seem that they're filled with activists who want to create products that push their narratives and, of course, again, own the chuds. It's like the poll that you and I both had recently put up on social media asking about, is inclusivity very important to you as a gamer? And while I always say this, inclusivity and diversity are great things. It's forced inclusivity and forced diversity, which is the problem because companies try to use it as a marketing tactic, and people aren't just going to buy your game based off of that one marketing tactic.
Right. I think if it launches again and it fails, it's only this is already the biggest failure in video game history.
Oh yeah.
But if they launch it for free and can't monetize it, it goes past like failure. It goes to a stain on the video game industry. Like this is such a brutal mark, just a total defeat in every way, shape, or form. It's pointed out right here. So Nathan says one thing you're overlooking: Concord is a Sony game, so that means forced PlayStation login on Steam. That's what tanked Helldivers 2 and Ragnarok, right? But it still failed on PlayStation Network.
Yes, it did.
So. And I totally understand what you're saying on Steam, but they are 100% going to rely on Steam for it to be successful. Like you can't ignore the PC audience. Be very ignorant of them to do. Speaking of Steam, Gusium KMX says, have you heard about Steam changing their user agreement, which made many people only now realize that they don't own their games on Steam? That is basically a glorified rental service.
Yep.
I did see that, yes. Anything that you have digital, you don't own. You don't know, friends. Jason came in and says only 2,000 peak players played the free beta weekend. Fewer people played the free weekend than the pre-order only weekend. Yeah, it was a mess.
Yeah.
It was a mess for sure. Well, we'll certainly keep an eye on Concord. I'm sure that more and more information will come out. I mean, they're obviously making changes.
Oh yeah.
I can't think that they're going to be relaunching this anytime soon, right?
No.
Like they will wait till after the new year.
The only thing that I was thinking is we don't know exactly when that secret level episode is going to launch. So secret level starts airing in December and it's weekly, but there is a Concord episode. I was thinking maybe the Concord episode will be one of the last and then it technically relaunches in the new year. I don't know if they'll do it that way, but there is of course that possibility.
That's a really interesting idea. I can't imagine they tie it in just for the video game or just for a TV show, but
you never know.
You never know. Right,
Yeah.
right. Exactly.
Imagine watching that and then being like, oh, this looks kind of cool. What is this? And then Googling what Concord is and then seeing it's not even a game anymore that you can access.
Right. Mesa's one came in with the Fortnite and says, Craig, look up the character reveal for Jane Doe from Zenless Zone Zero. There's their blueprint for success. Well, I have this pulled up here. And, I think that this character model is certainly prettier than what they're throwing down. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of like tails on characters personally, but I get it, right? Outside of the tail, it's just a anime looking character here with
Her tail kind of screams to me Doc Ock. Like it's not like a furry tail, it's more of like a tech tail. I think it looks kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, you don't need to do a whole lot. Make the character somewhat attractive. Just don't. That's the thing. Don't just make the character ugly. That's all. That's it. So, all right, man, that's good stuff right there, guys. Appreciate it.
I see people asking in chat. It is a MiHoYo game. Zenless Zone
MiHoYo.
0.
Yep. MiHoYo. Hayden came in. I wanted to get this real fast. Is those robots were walking around, talking to people, dancing, playing rock paper scissors, and doing all sorts of stuff last night at the conference. I'm concerned, Hayden. Yeah, man. They're coming for you, buddy. They're coming for you, Hayden, whether you like it or not. You know, I know Hayden lives out in the middle of nowhere. I love it, and he's a Texas boy, and I see Hayden sitting on top of a house with his guns, just like mowing them down as they're coming in. You will not take me. You will not take me. And they're all doing rock paper scissors as they're going to him, trying to pour drinks for him. He's like, no. The Beast came in as a brand new member. Thank you so much, The Beast. Thanks so much for your monthly support. Appreciate that. Henry Davis came in with a $25 super chat. Says WWE is a perfect example of a company giving the fans what they want within the parameters, within reason. That's right. And they are listening to their audience for sure. Yeah. That's great. All right. A company that is not listening to their audience and just refuses to listen to the internet as a whole is our friends at Sweet Baby Inc. Mm-hmm. Now, look, we're about to go into the deep end with Sweet Baby here. So buckle up, Buttercup. It's time. Now, news came down last night, thanks to our friend Smash JT, who noticed that the Sweet Baby Inc. website had been totally reworked last night. Mm-hmm. And, it is what it is. Big ups to Smash for his story. You guys can go to smashjt.com to he has some really good work over there, and we're going to have him on again very soon. But he talked about the Sweet Baby Inc. website. It says Sweet Baby Inc. has updated their website, and it is even more garbage than it was. It's more garbage than it was previously. They're trying to hide everything. I think this is it's a redesign. I'm not one to get totally up in arms about this. I think this happens all the time. And I think that if they were trying to truly hide things, they probably would have just pulled their website, 6 months ago or whatever. But I do try to look at it logically. But at the same time, I understand why they would rework it and remove a lot of the things that they removed. Right. Yeah. Well, for me, a big worry is that just a couple of weeks ago, I believe it was 2 weeks ago, Square Enix's name magically disappeared from the Sweet Baby Inc. website. And that was only a couple of weeks after there were Square Enix shareholders taking to social media saying, what's our affiliation with Sweet Baby Inc.? So it seemed that all was a chain of events that, in my opinion, had me very worried, because if you're a company that can just reach out to Sweet Baby and say, hey, I don't want our company's name to be on your webpage anymore, and they go, okay, that's fine. How many other companies are they working with or have they worked with that are not on that list? But now that list is completely gone. That to me just screams suspicious. And yeah, sure, maybe it'll be back up in a couple of days or a couple of weeks because they're redesigning their webpage, but I do not trust them, and there's no reason why we should. Well, they've given us reason not to trust them. When you see kind of what they've done in the gaming industry and such, and they actually have noticed the pushback. I would say, I think that's the big thing, is the pushback, and so much so that Kim Belair, the Sweet Baby Inc. CEO, spoke at the XOXO festival. Now, doing a little digging on this XOXO festival, this was an annual festival and conference that was held in Portland, Oregon, which I think really says a lot about it, right? When I say was, the last event was this year. This is the last time they're going to do it. So they're calling it quits. But I thought that this 20-minute like TED Talk style speech that Kim Belair did was worth watching in its entirety. Now, I'm going to speed it up to 1.25 as opposed to just regular standard time to watching it, so we can get through it a little bit quicker. But I do want to go through it and watch it and really analyze kind of what she's saying here, because what she does during this 20 minutes is point the finger at everybody but herself.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody but Sweet Baby Inc. So let's go and take a look at this thing, and we'll start and stop as we see fit. But Vera, you are in the crosshairs when it comes to
I am.
So here we go. Let's check this out here in its entirety. First thing to notice, by the way, no thumbs up or thumbs down. They've removed that, as well as no comments on this video. So
classic.
Yes, classic internet. All right, let's go check this out in its entirety.
Hello, I'm Kim Belair. In my circles, I'm largely considered, I think, a relatively nice person. These are my dogs, Sage and Flaky. These are my cats, Tag and the Gray Boy. I really enjoy Lego. I collect skulls and taxidermy, and I also really like playing a lot of video games, including Elden Ring. By day, I am the crazed CEO.
Is it too fast, by the way? Is she speaking too fast?
No, I think that it's good.
Okay, cool.
Though I think it's funny she's trying to make herself relatable at the beginning.
Well, of course, you humanize.
I play video games just like you guys.
Yes,
I'm a good
absolutely.
person. I take care of my dogs. I have hobbies. Yes, she has to be relatable and humanize herself.
Yeah.
On a total side note, why? Like, think about the structure of this picture here, right? She's looking at her phone away from the ocean, while somebody takes a picture of her looking at her phone. Like it's a really weird picture, just weird. All right, let's continue.
Also really like playing a lot of video games, including Elden Ring. By day, I am crazed CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., the DEI-obsessed censorship mafia who is currently ruining and wokeifying all of the video games that you've ever played. Thank you.
Ooh, the cheering for that.
I know.
Bingo.
The audience throughout this is so annoying. They're constantly cheering her on.
Wow.
I think that's the other thing about this is once again, this is in Portland here.
Yeah.
And just listen to how these seals clap along the way. One more time.
You've ever played. Thank you. Thank you. It's hard work.
Joke or self-admitting what they do?
I mean, clearly admitting.
I mean,
I think she's putting herself on the pedestal. She might as well have said, "I'm doing the Lord's work."
Yep.
Right. And but that's the thing. Once again, let's take a step back. What is she doing? Where is she speaking? An event in Portland, Oregon. One of the biggest bubble like bubbles in America, right?
Yep.
Where if you don't think a certain way, you're out, right? Would she have this same success if she did this exact same speech in Lincoln, Nebraska?
No.
Right? Or I don't know, pick anywhere, Bakersfield, California.
Yeah.
No, of course not.
And another funny thing about the XO festival is that the only reason why it rose to prominence is because of The Verge. The mainstream media had promoted it all the way back in like 2016 or 2017. So the only reason it exists is because the mainstream media, who absolutely hates our guts.
Correct. Let's continue.
If you haven't heard of Sweet Baby Inc., thank you. That's actually how I prefer it. But if you have, it's
also,
Ooh.
Why would you not want people to know about your company?
Right.
Also,
That's
yes, interesting statement to say the least. Exactly. Just like, we kind of like want to lurk in the shadows here.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you take on that, the audience cheering for you because of the work that you're doing, yet you don't want people to know about the work that you're doing. You don't want people to know about your company. That's interesting.
Right. It's like the Sweet Baby Inc. detected list, or now it's called DEI detected, that Kabruta started. There were people that were furious when it was initially launched because they were saying, oh my God, you're just targeting the games on this list and you're boycotting them. You, as a social justice warrior, you as an activist, you could go down this list and buy every single game on it. You can use it in a completely different way that another person might use it, but they were still so bothered by it because they know that the modern audience they want to appeal to doesn't actually exist and they don't show up to buy games.
Let's go to continue here.
Either because of the over 80 amazing and often award-winning games that we've worked on, or actually one of those, Usual June, was at this very conference. So yeah, you've either heard us from all of these wonderful games, or perhaps you're familiar with the nearly year-long hate campaign that has been waged against us as a team.
Okay, let's take a step back.
Yeah,
Here we
what was
are.
that?
Woo!
The year-long hate campaign
Yeah.
that has been waged against her and her team. Let's take a look here real fast at many of our friends online here, including, oh, there she is right there.
That's
Vera
me.
Dark. Vera,
Crazy.
literally.
Gundam. I think that is a hypnotic thumbnail?
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. We got Gundam up here. We got Hypnotic.
We have Kyle on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I gotta be honest.
There's Endymion in the bottom left. I'm pretty sure that's his.
Rev says
Thumbnail
Desu, Clownfish TV. So quite a few.
They put
people.
Clownfish on this. That's hilarious. That's so fucking funny. And it's gonna get even funnier based off what she says here, by the way. So shout out to all these people, by the way, who have created this quote unquote hate campaign against Sweet Baby Inc. The most fascinating thing about this is in a little bit, she talks about how it's a coordinated campaign. Like everybody's getting together and it's like, ooh, we should talk about
Right. We have a group chat. Like, what are we digging up on Sweet Baby today?
Oh my God. It's hilarious. Like, it's so
Why do you think
hilarious.
she made those two particular thumbnails in color and the rest are all black and white?
That's right.
Yeah. She
Just
wanted to
like-
highlight herself. She wanted to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
right.
And then I think that the other one is highlighted because Asmongold is such a huge YouTuber.
Yeah.
And even
course.
he was saying stuff about
It's very
Baby.
reminiscent of when the DEI detected list started and Alyssa Mercante had made a list of content creators making videos about her and she swore up and down, I didn't watch them. I just copy and pasted them. Sure. I bet Kim has watched every one of these videos.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely.
Well, let's continue. Speaking of video, let's see what she has to say about this.
Or perhaps you're familiar with the nearly year-long hate campaign that has been waged against us as a team. Unfortunately, today I'm here to talk about that in a talk I'm going to call What Happens When You Get Harassed?
Stop what you're doing right now. I apologize. I need to stop the stream right now and mention that Carlos gifted 50. I can't even say your last name, Carlos. Not at the table. 50 memberships to the channel. 50.
Let's go.
There you go. Look at that, Carlos.
Woo!
Look at all
Close
that.
up kitty.
My God. We're there. Look at you get all of them, baby. That's outstanding. Congratulations. Hey, we did it.
We did it, Joe.
Thank you, Carlos. Oh my God. Hey, if you guys got gifted a membership, make sure you say thank you to Carlos.
Yes.
That is spectacular. Wow, we zowie. I gotta make sure I get your entire last. How do you say Carlos's last name?
I don't.
I have
wanna
no
insult.
clue.
Saha. I'll try it. Sahaj Dankni. The goat. Let's go. He's
Let's
the
go.
goat.
The goat.
The
He's
Chad.
the goat. Carlos, let's go.
Carlos the goat.
Wow. Holy crap. That's spectacular. Hey, if you guys got gifted a membership from Carlos, I want you to say not at the table, Carlos. Just say that. Not at the table, Carlos. That's a reference from the Vegas movie, whatever it was.
You know what you need, Craig? You need a boob emote. You need some boobs.
Yes, true. A fact.
You need
You're
some
right.
some,
Yeah.
some nice jugs. that people can throw in.
You're right. You do. Oh,
I was
wow.
looking for one. I was like, oh, there's no boob emote. That's
No.
interesting. We need
Well,
some boobs.
We're the show is always evolving, Steph. All right, so we'll
As the CEO, you
Yes,
should get on that.
Yes.
That is very true. We will get a boob emote for you guys.
Wow. All right. Hey, Carlos, once again, thank you so much. I will stop down any Sweet Baby Inc. presentation if we have 50 gifted memberships. That's spectacular. My fear is always that they meant to do 5.
Yeah.
And then they added a 0 on top of it. Oh my gosh. Stop! Flickerbox came in with a $50. Oh, we're not going to get through this video today. Please, Steph, go ahead and read this off, please.
All right. Flickerbox for 50. Thank you so much. That's freaking awesome. The modern audience exists, but it's not the enlightened progressive group they think they are. Millennials and Gen Z, typically ages 18 to 35, are often driven more by trends and social validation than real depth. Interviews are still open, by the way. Wow. That is very true. Yes, Gen Z is very much driven by trends. Wow. Very much. And
glad...
Gen Alpha is like double that. Like they are consumed by being on trend.
I think I turned out to be a pretty decent Gen Z.
I agree.
I think, hopefully, fingers crossed.
Speaking of double on that, sorry about that. I just want to get that out there. Thank you for that Flickerbox. That is beyond generous, and we genuinely appreciate that support. So does she. All right. Wow, you guys have been spectacular today. Let's keep going. Let's keep going to this video. Let's make it through. We can do this. The normal men are showing up today. Let's continue.
Today, I'm here to talk about that in a talk I'm going to call What Happens When You Get Harassed? A Sweet Baby Story. So I'm going to start at the beginning. Who is Sweet Baby Inc.? We are a narrative development company, and we are a team of narrative developers. What that means is that we do script writing, storytelling, narrative work for video games. And sometimes that means that we come in for writing punch-ups. Sometimes that means we're the entire writer's room for a project. Sometimes that means we're coming in very, very early on and helping them start the groundwork, the world building. But what I want to really stress is that all of our work focuses very heavily and very seriously on story. That is what narrative development is.
Did you have any, Vera, just to be clear, did you have any questions about what Sweet Baby did? Like, I think I very much understood that's exactly what they do, is they work on the story of video games.
Yep. And we've seen a lot of journos like Alyssa Mercante put out these puff pieces saying Sweet Baby Inc. doesn't do what you think they do, but they do exactly what you think they do. They're just trying to sit here and tell you you're crazy, even though we're not.
Right. It's gaslighting to its core.
Oh yeah. It
100%. What's not gaslighting is Sith Eternium coming in with 20 gifted memberships. Holy shit. The train is on fire today. Speaking of wow.
Yep. See, they really want that boob emote. In order to get that boob emote, you got to gift memberships because we need the space for it.
Wow.
Exactly.
We do. That's true. That's actually a great point. We do. Because I tried to add some new emotes. We didn't have enough members to add emotes the other day. So, bam. Hey, thank you very much. If you guys got to get the membership, make sure you say thank you. That is incredibly generous. Oh, my God. All right, let's keep going.
Yeah. Boob emote coming soon.
Coming soon. Hey, Steph, you bring in great things to the show.
That is my gift to you all.
All right. So, okay. Let's collect ourselves. So we know what Sweet Baby Inc. does. This is literally they're telling us. Okay, we understand that. And I don't think anybody doesn't understand that's what Sweet Baby Inc. does, right? They work on the narrative of video games. They work in the story of video games. Let's continue.
We started out in 2018, but it was really in 2020 that we kind of came to any kind of industry prominence. And it was on a backdrop of the COVID quarantine, sending everybody home from the office. Me Too sweeping through the games industry as various bad actors were named and shamed appropriately, I should say. And also the Black Lives Matter protests were in full swing.
That's interesting. So they kind of hitched their tail onto those movements.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Hitched their tail onto activism.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The idea of the Me Too movement and Black Lives Matter in full swing. And they guess what? They saw an opportunity to hop in. Saw an opportunity. So
How can we line our pockets? How can we take advantage of this using our skill set, and make some money off of this ourselves? She's telling on herself right there.
Right.
100%.
At the time, the industry was kind of responding in the way you might imagine, with a lot of corporate overpromising. But within the writing sphere, there were a lot of offers for portfolio reviews. Like, hey, if you're a marginalized or especially a Black dev, we would love to give you a portfolio review. And I want to say I love portfolio reviews. It's something that we also do at Sweet Baby for free. So if anybody in the audience right now is looking for a little bit of a portfolio review or wants to talk about video games, we'd love to do that. But the problem with portfolio reviews is that they also assume that it's a meritocracy, right? They assume the problem is your portfolio and not the fact that maybe there's a lot of other reasons that you are not getting the gig. So knowing that there were a myriad problems to be solved, we created an email called talk@sweetbabyinc, and we just...
I want to take a step back here. What is she...
I have a question.
Yes,
sorry.
Steph.
I have a question. She specifically said if you are a Black dev,
yes,
we will do a portfolio review for you. So those pictures that she just put up of everybody's thumbnails, they're not wrong. Because they are discriminating against other people, and they only will help if you are a Black dev. She's telling on herself again.
100%. It's like with Feminist Frequency and Anita Sarkeesian. First of all Sweet Baby did was grift off of Feminist Frequency and Anita's model, but with Feminist Frequency, they were just hiring women. So it's the same thing, just in like a different font. Like, oh, let me look at your homework, and I'm just not going to copy it one for one. That's exactly what is happening with Sweet Baby Inc.
What is she alluding to here, real quick, in this statement right here?
But the problem with portfolio reviews is that they also assume that it's a meritocracy, right? They assume the problem is your portfolio and not the fact that maybe there's a lot of other reasons that you are not getting the gig. So
maybe because you suck at your job.
Well, that would assume it's a meritocracy, right?
Right.
So, and then that's what she's saying. It's this you're assuming these things,
right?
That there's a myriad of other problems why you're not getting the gig, right? What is she alluding to there? Is she saying it's because they're Black? Is she saying that the industry is racist and sexist and homophobic, and that because you're these things, that's why you are not employed?
Yeah, just racism. Classic.
Okay, just making sure. So she's racist. All right, let's continue.
So, knowing that there were a myriad problems to be solved, we created an email called talk@sweetbabyinc, and we just said, hey, if you're a developer who wants to get into the industry, if you're someone who's already in the industry and you want to talk, just talk to us. And so in that year, we ended up with a lot of people who we connected to, and we talked a lot about advocacy. We talked a lot about helping people get into the industry, and we also talked a lot about the importance of telling stories from a variety of perspectives, and especially of having those writers and those creators in the room to help you with that. And as we joined the new conversations, as we worked on more projects, more people joined our team. And so in that year, or in those subsequent years,
Let's stop this really quick. Here is their team. 16 people, right?
Yep.
This looks like Portland.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Or Vancouver. Okay. Just want to continue.
We grew from a team of only 5 to a team of 16 incredibly talented people. And during that time, as you might imagine, a lot of game teams were looking for guidance, both in terms of narrative, but also in terms of learning how to tell diverse stories and feature diverse characters. And so...
Okay, let's take it. Actually, I think it's important to take a step back there, right? She says during that time. What time? The time after Me Too, during Black Lives Matter, right? Why? So once again, it goes back to they saw an opportunity to fill
and they jumped on it.
Right, exactly. Hey, capitalism, fucking A, go crazy. That's fine. Do it. I have no problem with that. But I think it's important to have that context right there. So
naturally, because we were kind of in that conversation, we helped them. Throughout the years, again, we worked on, as I said, a ton of games. For most of these... Just
for the record, has anybody... Steph, you are not a hardcore video gamer by any means.
No.
Do you probably outside of Spider-Man? And I would imagine you probably know God of War. Have you heard of any of these other games?
Yeah. No. I've heard of Alan Wake, but I only heard of the name. That's it. But yeah, just the Spider-Man one, and then the Miles Morales one, and then God of War Ragnarok. That's it. I don't know any of these other ones.
I am not familiar with Run and Jump Slam Dunk, but I'm sure it was a killer. I'm sure it
Yeah.
was great. All right, let's go and continue.
A killer of a studio.
Right. Oh, didn't shade.
We did writing, story development. Sometimes we just kind of came on and did spot checks. But the thing that genuinely made me really, really proud of all of us was that we were living up to the title that I had wanted to. We were becoming true narrative developers, capable of taking on pretty much any task.
Okay, once again.
Who's narrative?
Right. Let's take this back, right? What is a narrative developer? Right? You're developing a story based off of your input, which once again you were hired to do during the height of Black Lives Matter and Me Too.
Yeah.
So your job is to literally uplift it's truly a diversity hire. Like at its core, you are
100%.
a diversity hire. Their company is a diversity hire at its true core. I mean, go get your money. That's fine, but let's call a spade a spade. You know, call it for what it is. You know, it's crazy. So
I think they are diversity hires, but they're at their core, they're scammers.
Yeah, they're bullshit artists.
Yeah.
All right, let's continue.
As far as a touch story on any project at any time. And that expertise was a result of all the different kinds of work that we were doing. For those not in the industry or not familiar with it, most game writers in their entire careers will see 5 to 10 projects as just, a lifetime. And we would see that many projects in a matter of months. And
why are you seeing that? Because you positioned yourself once again during the height of Black Lives Matter, during the height of Me Too, right? That is why you don't sugarcoat this. This is why you saw so much work.
But see what happened during that time. A lot of people were afraid of being canceled. That was like the height of the cancellation, right? That was at the height of cancellation. So all of these companies were afraid of getting canceled, and they would come in and tell them, "Hey, you're going to be canceled." They would use the threat of being canceled as a negotiation tactic to getting hired. We need to come in and change your game. Or else you might get canceled. They would use that fear of being canceled as a negotiation tactics. They're nothing but scammers. And then they would come in, and they're not narrative salesmen or whatever she's saying. They have their own narrative. They'll come in and change the game and insert whatever narrative that they want to insert into them. And then the games will ultimately fail.
Yeah, I mean, they create
a bunch of scammers.
Yeah, they create stories based on stereotypes and tokenism and call it DEI.
They call it representation.
Right. Representation and inclusion.
All right. Well, we haven't even got to the part where they start blaming everybody. Okay, let's continue.
And what happens when you work on that many projects and you get to see the inside of so many processes is that you don't learn necessarily like, oh, here are the ins and outs of working in this specific company. You instead hyper-focus on narrative and all of its parts. And
I'm sorry. You hear these things. You're like, yes, it's exactly. We know. We understand everything what you're saying right now. And that's the thing. Everybody that's on this list that Vera that you're on here, like I think everybody on this list understands exactly what they do, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, let's continue.
And you get really good at it. You get really, really specific at it, and you become craftspeople. And funnily enough, as far as this company is concerned, that was actually my end game. I wanted us to become craftspeople because when I was a kid, I learned a lot about Carrie Fisher. And beyond her acting career, she was actually a very respected script doctor in Hollywood. And I remember finding that so fascinating and really, really striking because quite famously, she was someone who struggled a lot with the eye of fame. But it was so comforting and interesting to hear that in this community of artists and writers, she was deeply respected just for her craft. And if I'm being honest, just as a creative myself, that's all I've really ever wanted. I've never wanted to be known by audiences. Really, I've never wanted to be known by gamers, certainly. And I've wanted to be...
Why don't you want to be known by gamers?
Right.
It's so funny. She's like, I just want to be in the shadow, scamming people in the shadow. I don't want anybody to know about me.
Yeah,
I
she
just
wants to be the
my
man.
scam over here. I don't want to be exposed. That's why she's so mad, because she's being exposed. People know what she's doing and it's coming to light and she's being exposed.
Yep, 100%.
I think it's you're right. She doesn't want to know. She doesn't want to anybody to really know anything about what they do on a day-to-day basis. And it goes back to that clip that we've seen multiple times. The idea of her saying, like, if it's viral at this point. The idea of if people aren't down with it, then it's your job to go speak with HR and more or less threaten them about what's going to happen if they don't go along with the narrative. And that's fucked up. That's fucked up. You don't want to be known by the gamers because you want this just to slide on into their games and then just, consume and enjoy. So,
Yeah.
I will enjoy this. As Flickerbox came in one more time with a massive $50. Flickerbox, what are you doing? Please, Steph, read that off.
In Hollywood, bullshit artists would be called something like abstract interpretive media, where race and ideology grifters slap on buzzwords like visionary and inclusive to sell you nothing but smoke and mirrors in an overpriced package.
Abstract interpretive media. What a fucking joke. Wow. Thank you so much, Flickerbox. That is spectacular. Look at that. That's great. Let me get you on the wall. We'll keep going. Boom. All right.
I think that if she was truly proud of the work that she did, she would want to be the face of it. She would want people to know about her activism, about her work. But the fact that she doesn't want gamers to know who she is, the fact that she wants to remain in the shadows, she wants her company to remain in the shadows, is just proof to me that she knows that she's a scammer. She's a snake oil salesman.
Yeah.
Right. Cooked, man. Let's keep going.
I have wanted to be known by game devs and writers especially. I want teams and studios and writers and creatives to think of us when they need a hand, when they want that more support. I want to be a game dev, and that's where I hoped it would be, but that is not what happened. Because in October of 2023, we had about 70 games under our belt at the time, but two of them, two very, very big ones, were about to drop within a week of each other. So on October 23rd, there was Spider-Man 2, and then on October 27th, there was Alan Wake 2, both big AAA games, and we had worked on narrative and character for both of them with literally years of work on Spider-Man 2. And
once again, story and character, right? This is everything. Once everybody knew this, I just want to continuously point this out. We all understand what you've done for these games. Everybody, there's zero confusion about it.
Right.
We would finally get to announce them. We were very excited. In retrospect, we were actually like comically excited because we had a couple thousand followers at the time, mostly game devs, and we were like, okay, it's time to stand up and be proud of our work. Wow, this is going to be really nice. And I remember even thinking that morning as we made these posts, like, I wonder if anyone's going to notice that, like, we posted about Spider-Man, we're also posting about Alan Wake. Like, will anyone put it together? Because I think our way of working at Sweet Baby, the kind of like teamwork that we do on so many different games, is really, really unique. I think it's really cool. I think people will be excited about it and about our craft. So I decided to do a cheeky Google and see.
She's truly excited because she has these AAA games under their belt. And if they do well and sell well, that's just another negotiating tactic that they can use. That's something that they can sell to other companies like, hey, look, we worked on Spider-Man 2 and we worked on Alan Wake 2 and they were so incredibly successful. So you need to hire us because look at what we did for these games. We will do the same thing for your game.
Yep, 100%. And it also even goes back to the government money, like with Dustborn. If you have wins under your belt, you have a lot more leeway with companies and to add to your portfolio. And then, government money gets handed to these people left and right, which is just so absurd to think about.
Scarfy says, as a black man, I hate to be represented by bad games to spite white people. I'm a human being, not a tool of hatred.
Yeah.
Scarfy, preach, man. Good for you. It's ridiculous. And Scarfy followed up and says these games were made entirely for not to please, but to antagonize. They only get comfort from the discomfort of others.
Well, that is a big problem with a lot of games recently, like Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, which of course they worked on. They had a scene where Harley is picking her new outfit and she looks at her old Arkhamverse costume and slams the locker and says, I'm not going to wear that anymore. They just did the same thing in the Silent Hill 2 remake. You have Maria in a new outfit, but she shows her old outfit and goes, what do you think if I wore this? It's just a slap in the face to fans of the franchises, and it's just so disrespectful. All they want to do is antagonize, and it just shows how disgusting and despicable these people truly are.
Mm-hmm.
Let's continue on, because now this is where the story, once again, these are, I'd like to just remember, this company is built around crafting a narrative.
Yeah.
What do you think that she's attempting to do in this 21-minute monologue here? Craft a narrative of victimhood. Let's continue.
See, like, hey, can anyone put that together? The Google went bad. I shouldn't have done it because rather than any praise or people going, wow, how did you do it? Or just, hey, a narrative development company, what does that mean? I'm really interested. We were instead found by kind of 4chan and the worst people on Twitter.
Let's take a look at really some of the things that were said here that they chose to highlight here. And if you ever thought every modern AAA game feels written by the exact same people, it's because they basically are.
Yeah,
right?
Everybody has the same political opinions. They have the same viewpoints on things like Black Lives Matter. There is no true diversity in the games industry because there's no longer diversity of thought, because these people are saying, if you do not agree with us, you are against us and we're not going to hire you or work with you. And then it's only the same types of stories that are getting told time and time again.
Every AAA American game studio has been outsourcing their game writing to this shitty ESG obsessed company. It's funny.
It's funny but it's not completely wrong.
Well, she just said that they got a ton of jobs during this time. Like, of course, all these American companies during this height of look in the fucking mirror, right? Once again, why was your company successful? You were the go-to during this time of great angst for these corporations that are going, what are we gonna do? Hire the company that's gonna force diversity that's run by the black lady, right? In the most basic way possible. That's what's happened. Sorry, that's the reality of it, Yeah. It is what it is. Now let's continue.
And looking back, there is a funny element to it where I go people were kind of talking I've discovered a secret Canadian company. These are the guys who did it. And the discovery that they had made was actually our public facing website that we advertise our services on, and which you can go to right now if you'd like to collaborate with us or just learn more. It's not hidden. And if it is, it's very bad because it's at sweetbabyinc.com.
Okay, let's talk about that for a second. What was the thing that we heard, Vera, over and over again about the Sweet Baby Inc. detected group, right? They're compiling all this information from the internet, right? And she's saying, no, it was all right there. It was all right there on our website. That's what Kabrutus said. He's like, look, I've just pulled it right off the website. It was public-facing information, right? And Kabrutus, because he went to their website, which was not a secret, grabbed that data. He was labeled an istophobe, whatever, and a harasser because he just put that data somewhere else on the internet.
Yeah, and you had Sweet Baby Inc. employees like Chris Kindred trying to get him deplatformed, trying to get the list taken down, trying to silence him. And of course, they've been doing that for months, trying to just silence any content creators that are talking about them. And it's like I said just a couple of minutes ago, that list was, yes, filled with lots of good, useful information, but the people like these activists and the followers of Kotaku, the rabid lunatics, they could go to that list and buy every single game and prove us wrong, but they don't because that group of modern audience members doesn't exist.
The way she says it is so funny. She's like, our website is so public. Anybody can go there. We're doing a bad job at hiding it. Anybody can go.
Yeah.
Only the right people can go. Okay. Right. If you're the wrong person, you shouldn't be looking at their website. Their website was probably built, for people or for companies to go to look at all the games that they've worked on. It's another way, for them to sell whatever they're selling. It wasn't meant for gamers because she doesn't like gamers. She doesn't like that gamers found her. She has a thing against gamers. She doesn't like gamers at all.
No.
If she did, then this company wouldn't exist because there would be nothing to change in games. But she despises gamers. She doesn't want gamers to go to the website. She wants companies to go to the website and look at the website and then hire her onto their projects. She wants to make money. If gamers are going to this website, she's losing money because they're exposing what this company is and what they're doing. So the gamers coming to the website, these are the wrong people that are looking at the website right now because they are costing her money by exposing her to other gamers and saying, hey, don't go and buy these games. So they're losing money on that because now they have a bad reputation amongst gamers. They have a bad reputation online, and that's going to cost her in the future.
Yeah, it's just a massive grift to these people. It's like with Anita Sarkeesian and Zoe Quinn. You know, they only during Gamergate 1 started paying attention to video games because they saw an opportunity in which they could make money. And of course, now a lot of them have completely fallen off the map because they're massive jokes. But it was always just a paycheck. If the games industry imploded tomorrow, they'd be like, okay, whatever, I don't really care. And then they're going to move on because they are not real gamers. They are not passionate. That's why so many content creators now, like myself, like Craig, so many people are having to fight for this industry because we don't want it destroyed. I love video games. I don't want the video game industry to implode. I just want companies to do better and show a shred of respect for the people that they need to swipe their credit cards in order for them to have jobs and for them to survive.
You know, Delta comes in with the direct donation, says, man, hearing Kim talk really gives credence to the whole Spider-Man 2 removed anything related to the NYPD because activists cried how the first game was propaganda if they were brought in as a response to BLM, even though Miles' dad was a captain.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and continue here. Thanks, Delta.
But literally within a few hours of me seeing that first post, we were not only being accused of, forcing a black person into Alan Wake, which one is cool, but we didn't do, and also of putting pride flags into Spider-Man's New York, which again, so good, love to see them, but we were not responsible for them. But suddenly we were being told that we were, funded by BlackRock and that actually we weren't a narrative development company. We were a DEI company, some kind of vaguely defined censor, and that we were here to use all of the power we had amassed to force companies to go woke. And
the idea that you can be a narrative design company while still pushing the diversity, equity, inclusion is very valid. And she doesn't say anything here to not validate those concerns at all.
Oh yeah, no.
So let's continue.
Obviously, that's a very baffling understanding of what work for hire is. I'm not sure how they imagine we did it or how the contracts would be drawn up for it, but it
Wait, okay, hold on. I'm sorry. What? It goes back to, why did you see success? Why were companies hiring you? Once again, when did they hire you? During the height of BLM with Me Too, right? So why did they hire you? It doesn't need to be in a contract. It doesn't need to be at all. You're hired for a specific reason.
Right. It's like companies are not going to pay other groups like Sweet Baby Inks, let's say just for argument's sake, $50,000. They're not going to give you $50,000 to do work they're not going to implement. And clearly their product at the end of the day, from what we've heard several times, do end up different because of individuals like Kim Belair and the Chris Kindreds. They are affecting these games and they're trying to play it off as, oh, well, we didn't actually really affect them. Why would you be hired then if not to affect a final product? She's just straight up lying.
It kind of didn't matter because it just kept evolving and spinning out of control. And suddenly the conspiracy was just alive. They were finding photos of us, sometimes our families or our contractors. They were doxing me and other members of the team. Anyone calling these attacks out as doxing was accused of doxing themselves or lashing out.
I think it's funny. But they always call it a conspiracy, but they never call it a lie.
And to be
Sitting
clear,
here saying, oh, it's just this big conspiracy. So why don't you sit down and show us examples of what you did? She could bring up 2 examples from 5 different games, said, we affected this, we did that. And then, calm those kind of worries and prove us wrong. But they never prove us wrong. She didn't say that they were wrong. She's just sitting here saying that these content creators like myself are pushing conspiracies, but you could simply show us some kind of evidence, and they're not doing that.
Nope.
Well, man, there's
Well, by
so
saying
much.
that it's conspiracy, she's making the content creators out to be conspiracy theorists and crazy people.
Yep.
You know, that's what her intention is. She wants the people at this conference, at least, to say like, oh, they're conspiracy theorists. Oh, well, what do you think of when you think of a conspiracy theorist? Like tinfoil hat wearing, screaming into the void type of person. And so that's how she wants these people at this conference to view you guys. Y'all are just a bunch of crazies. There's no truth to this. There's never any truth to conspiracy theories. What are you talking about? It's just a bunch of crazy people
well, to
screaming
be fair,
into the void.
because something is a conspiracy doesn't mean it's not true.
Right. I said this the other day. What's the difference between a conspiracy theory and reality? 6 months, right? So here we are.
That's me. I'm the CEO. I have issues. But yeah, this went on for weeks and then months. At its peak, which was somewhere around like February, March of this year, we were getting something like 300 emails a day, which admittedly some of those are going to be spam or bots or whatever it is, but they were often accompanied by death threats, threats to our family. We did have one bomb threat made to the police that they contacted us about. And
to be totally 100% clear, don't do that. Nobody condones that. Nobody condones doxing. Nobody condones death threats or bomb threats or anything like that. Don't do that. Nobody, I guarantee anybody on that list that she just put on there. And by the way, you may have a defamation suit on your hand, Vera, here.
Maybe.
Publicly, you know.
Maybe.
Normal men, normal women don't do that. And also, please provide some receipts.
Yeah.
Be good. Just throwing it out there.
They never do that.
You know, at best, the nicest thing you would see in some of these spaces was that we were a punchline. But any defenders were really, really shouted down quite quickly. And in moments when this movement couldn't dig up like another reason to attack us, they would just kind of move on to other groups who they perceived to be like us, all while, you know, doing the work of erasing all of those people's and our actual jobs and interest and papering over it with kind of, you know, that rallying cry of far-right supremacy, DEI.
Ah, there it is.
Oh, yeah, it's only the far-right supremacists that are coming after her.
That's right. There it is. There it is. That's right. The far right, who, just to point out, I think it's really important. The idea of we've seen the polls over the last few days of is inclusion important to you in video games? Me, 97.4%. No, inclusion is not important to you in video games. Vera, you had a poll as well.
Yep.
You said it was like 96% or something like that?
Yep, it was like 96.8%, and it had nearly 11,000 votes.
Right. And to be clear, some people, well, those are skewed. That's your audience. Right.
Anybody could vote.
They're not that skewed, right? They're not that skewed. Let's say even if they are skewed, right? Let's say, you know, the general on a poll, the general difference like could be like 3 to 5%. That's the general rule that you see, right? It's like a 3-5% difference. Let's just say it's 20%. Okay.
Yeah.
If 80% of your audience is like, no, I'm not interested in that, it's probably not a good idea to cater to that 20%. Just throwing it out there. Like very basic business. You know, just, you know, maybe I'm the idiot here, but apparently I'm not. Apparently I'm a far right supremacist here for bringing this stuff up. You know, here we are. Let's continue.
And as ridiculous and stupid as it all was, I actually was not prepared for the escalation of it when noted buffoon and Twitter CEO Elon Musk decided.
Noted buffoon. Wow.
Just this is the same guy who we're talking about is sending rockets to Mars, is creating autonomous vehicles, and we saw create a personalized robot that folds laundry today. But yes, noted buffoon. And by the way, how dare she mock a wonderful African-American autistic man? How dare she?
I know. It's pretty Istanphobe of her.
Crazy. All right, sorry, continue. So what did Elon Musk do?
That he would chime in with his very cool thoughts.
Sweet Baby Inc. is an evil blight on the gaming industry. All they do is make games terrible and try to cancel people. They cannot go broke soon enough.
Preach.
Based.
Yeah, some very cool, very good thoughts in there. Lots to think about. So this was hard the whole time. Like, not since the beginning, it wasn't great, but we were receiving countless emails, all this constant hate. It was targeted enough to feel disconcerting, even when it was kind of silly, and it was also kind of drowning out the support. But when Elon chimed in, it really made me realize the scale of it, because the richest man in the world was suddenly turning like the Eye of Sauron onto 16 people trying to make a pretty modest living in the industry that they love, and he was arguing for our collapse. And
The Eye of
this meant
Sauron,
that
so
it was
implying that they're the Fellowship. We're
Yeah.
the good guys, y'all.
Of course. She's a narrative designer, Steph. That's what she does. She
Mhm.
drafts narratives. She creates
Yeah.
narratives. And what's she
She's
doing here?
certainly crafting a narrative right now.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
when this happened and when it got bigger than this, you can tell I got it early as a screenshot. But yeah, it's.
Think she's following Elon Musk?
No.
just wondering.
No.
It made us realize that this was huge. We were being attacked in a massive and coordinated campaign of harassment, and that sucks. But
I wonder if she's going to be like, but how can I use this to my advantage? Because they're.
Okay.
Yeah.
I really want to really focus in on this one more time, right? This idea of this statement right here.
Massive and coordinated campaign of harassment. That this was huge. We were being attacked in a massive and coordinated campaign of harassment. And
Coordinated. That's interesting.
I'm gonna be very honest with you. This group of people, they don't care enough, or they're like, there's not enough interest to coordinate an effort. Right? This is very not coordinated. You're giving us everybody way too much credit. Way too much credit here. Sorry, I just found that
it's just content creators talking about their actions and their employees' actions.
Yes,
it's just all that it is.
And you think that she would, speaking of like a campaign, you would think that she would want to mention the idea of the campaign that was led by Chris Kindred. And what was that? What was that hate campaign that Chris Kindred did?
That was against Cabrutus when DEI detected, or then it was called Sweet Baby Inc. detected, began. Chris Kindred took to social media and basically demanded that Cabrutus's accounts get removed, that the Steam list gets removed. I mean, there have been coordinated attacks and campaigns against content creators like Cabrutus, like me, like you, simply for speaking out against their actions. She is delusional, though, to think that it's organized. It's just all roots back to her feeling of like self-importance, right? She thinks that she's the center of the world, and it's funny because in this she tries to start it off with saying they've done so much in the industry and they've made such an impact that the team is so proud of, but then she tries to shift the narrative to we're just a small team and now people are coordinating attacks against us. Like, this is what happens when you are on social media. You are selling products and people do not like you. You're going to receive backlash. You're going to receive criticism, and criticism does not mean harassment, but these people will constantly try to say that it is harassment because it's all they've got going for them. They're not good writers. They're not good producers. They're not real game developers. So they have to try to grasp at any shred of relevancy. And for them, it's just saying you're all racist, sexist, bigots, and companies should hire us because of our race and because of our political alignment.
It's interesting that she viewed it as a coordinated attack, because oftentimes these types of people, especially with her company, like I mentioned earlier, she was they became prominent during the height of BLM and during the time when cancellation campaigns were going on, right? So these are the type of people that would participate in those types of campaigns. So, and I would bet money that she used that as a negotiation tactic to, get these companies to hire them to provide services.
Right.
So yeah, I think that if they are the types of people that would use cancellation campaigns as a negotiation tactic, they would view people finding out about their company and exposing their company to the people on their platforms as a hate campaign. They would view it like that, because that's how they partake in social media. Like, they're using hate campaigns, cancellation campaigns as negotiation tactics. They've probably participated in it in the past. So to them, this is a hate campaign, even though it's not. They're just being exposed. Their company is being brought to the light.
Yeah.
So people can see like what types of services that they provide, so they just can be more informed as a consumer.
Yeah.
But to her, it's a hate campaign.
100%.
Here is, once again, this is her literally talking about threatening people.
Put this stuff up to your higher ups. And if they don't see the value in what you're asking for when you ask for consultants, when you ask for research, go have a coffee with your marketing team and just terrify them with the possibility of what's going to happen if they don't give you what you want.
That's literally all you need to hear.
Very sane behavior right there. Let's terrify them.
Yes. All right, let's continue here.
And that sucks, but it does get me closer to the question of what happens when you get harassed. So first of all, just as a spoiler, like what happens when you get harassed is it sucks. I can't recommend it. If I had to rate the experience, like 1.5 stars, probably. It's not.
Richest man in the world is a curse on you?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. Another Elon dig.
What the heck?
More specifically, what happened during all of this, if I can kind of dig down into this review, is, we lost our voice. And we didn't just lose our voice as a collective. We lost our voices individually because people on our team were either hounded off of social media or, they get attacked so consistently that it just becomes frustrating to use. It's not enjoyable to hop on anywhere and get that wave of hate. So within Sweet Baby, beyond what we do for work, there are authors, there are comic book creators, there are TTRPG creators, game designers, people who have other work that they want to share with the world that they should be allowed to share with the world. But just for existing within our company, just for working on the games that they do, they were attacked. Even contractors, people who literally worked with us for a spot check, a week or a couple months. But there was really, really nothing we could do. And as silly as it is, and as little as I miss the current Twitter, as little as I regret leaving it, the loss of frivolity and, frankly, dumb bullshit is actually a little soup song of dehumanization. Because I would love to post a picture of my latte or my dogs without people going oh, I guess coffee is woke now. And hey, that dog is pretty gay. But we weren't allowed. We are no longer.
Look at that gay dog.
Damn.
It's a gay dog. Just throwing it out there. Okay. Sorry. Do y'all have any thoughts on anything she just said here?
No, she's just absurd.
Yeah, she's just. I'm the victim. I was victimized off of social media. And the fact that she says that we weren't allowed, you're allowed to do whatever you want.
Right.
You can make the choices that you want in life. Unfortunately for this person, the choices that she made led to this. These are the consequences. And, the fact that she doesn't like gamers, the fact that she pushes for, that video that you just played, scare tactics, like her tactics are really bad. She has really bad tactics. And the company that she built and is working for or is in charge of, gamers don't like that company. They don't see a reason for this company. They just end up producing bad games. So these are the consequences of it. And she's free to leave social media if she wants to, but she's also free to protect her account. She doesn't have to have an open account so everybody can see it, right? She doesn't have to have a public account. She can stay where she wants and just make it a private account. She can go private. She doesn't have to stay public. She can mute people. She can block people. She can do a lot of things, but it wouldn't fit the narrative of I'm the victim.
No, of course not.
So there's a lot of ways for her to continue to stay on social media. She is allowed to stay on social media. Nobody is kicking her out anywhere. She just doesn't want to, because if she leaves social media, then she can say, I was bullied off of social media.
Yeah. And she's saying that, I've had to leave social media, or I feel uncomfortable on social media because we lost our voice. They didn't lose their voice. What happened was just people stopped listening to them and people stopped taking them seriously. And that really bothers her.
Mm-hmm.
Right. They lost their validity to it. And it all came with, they hopped on the gravy train. And when the gravy train started to slow down, they got a little upset because they got caught for their entire business model. So,
yep.
Longer allowed to be in the conversation without, what amounts to mass targeting. Look at him up there. And don't get me wrong, people did defend us.
By the way, Why's the dog got to be black? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Sorry. Jokes. Let's go.
Some very, very great folks, like often writers, game devs, people who he had worked with, people he had not worked with, who could see this thing for what it was. But while I appreciated the defense and the team appreciated it so much, that support is still really hard to feel in the panic of the moment. And so instead, I felt really guilty. I felt responsible. Like,
sorry, just wanted to stop that for a second. Just gonna let that sink in real quick.
I felt bad, not for doing the job that I love, but for building a space that was meant to be protective and creative for a bunch of people and having it turn into something that, through no fault of our own, saw my friends and my loved ones and my colleagues and my coworkers just viciously and brutally hurt. I felt bad for making a company at all. I felt bad for believing in it and for speaking on it. People would come up to me, especially at events like I went to GDC, and they would very kindly tell me that they were inspired by me or by us and by our collective strength and our resilience. And I would...
Just a quick stop down. Where is GDC? San Francisco, California.
Yeah.
Another bubble.
Mm-hmm.
You get in your
Echo
bubble.
chamber.
Yes, bingo. Your echo chambers, 100%.
would say thank you so much, but deeply I would feel very ashamed, which intellectually I know is wrong, right? We are doing something good. We are writers and designers of tremendous skill and tremendous experience, and we've never censored anything, nor have we ever wanted to, frankly.
Okay, there's a statement right there I think it's worth pointing out. We have never censored anything, and you never wanted to. I think that's word salad, personally. There's a difference between maybe censoring and potentially changing to fit your narrative as the narrative designer. That's just me. Any thoughts on that, Vera?
Yeah, I mean, the definition of censorship is, suppressing or removing or editing any parts that are considered obscene, unacceptable, a threat to security, et cetera, et cetera. What they do is, yes, they do censor content.
Right. Yeah. Let's continue. By the way, guys, thanks for hanging with us. Vera, ttle you for hanging with us a little longer. This has gone a little bit. Sorry, there's so much to digest here.
There is.
If you really want my opinion, I think largely games could be hornier. I think they should be darker. I think they should be stranger.
Anybody else want any more hornier games out there? Kim Belair wants them.
I don't need horny games.
Okay.
That's weird.
Time code that 1502.
I think it's funny that people like her say this, but yet we're getting like Witcher 1 remakes, and we basically know for a fact that the female trading card system where you have sex with a woman and then you get her nude card is going to be removed because that offends them. It's only the right type of sexuality that they want to see in their entertainment, not sexuality for everybody to be represented, only the content they want to see and that they want to consume.
Right.
At the core of my approach here, and the approach that we take as a company, I genuinely believe that representation is not censorship, it is innovation.
We hear this all the time. Representation is innovation. Steph, what's your thoughts on representation as innovation?
It's not innovation. Representation has always been there in all aspects of life. It's always been in media. It's always been in games. It's always been in Hollywood. It's already there. What you want is to insert yourself into something. You want to see yourself in a game. You want to see yourself in a movie. It's not innovation. It's self-insertion. That's all it is for these types of people. They want it to be like in modern times. What I believe in right now, these are my beliefs. I want to see that represented in a game. I don't want because representation's always been there.
Yeah.
It's always been there. But they just want to see themselves in it. They want self-insertion in a game.
And I think that's the big thing is nobody cares about representation. People care about forced representation, right? Mm-hmm. Put the best. It always goes back to, she talked about meritocracy. Like, people just want the best. If it's the best character that fits the story, okay, fine. If it's the best, whatever, they just put the best in that fits the best job for whatever it is. So.
Diversity in narrative makes things more intense. It can make it more visceral and more real. It doesn't have to always make something more wholesome or softer. I really do believe that by opening up to new perspectives, by getting folks in the room, we actually push more boundaries and we get more real. But what happens when you get harassed is it doesn't matter what you believe. What's also frustrating is that it doesn't matter what they believe either, because so much of this campaign is just misinformation. It's assumptions and lies about who we are, what we do, and what we want. We have worked on 80 games, as I said before, and I think that's pretty cool, but to them, it's something closer to 200. We have our little fingers, our woke little fingers, in every pie in this industry. And that's the other thing that happens, right?
She tries so hard here to convince you that they're just a small team. There's only 16 members. They've only worked on 80 games. Look at some of the companies they've worked with and on the games. Alan Wake 2, God of War Ragnarok, Suicide Squad, Sony Santa Monica, Xbox. Like, we are talking about some, in a lot of cases, massive games and massive companies. So she's trying to say we don't have that much influence. That is complete and utter BS.
So she's going to continue. Well, we'll just we'll fly through this. We'll fly through this here.
They take away your power in some ways, but they also ascribe to you this enormous power. They will claim that you are rich, that you are backed by, shadowy cabals, government orgs. They claim you have the ability to force their favorite studios to bend to your whim, rather than the truth, which is that studios and teams hire us to make stories better. Not woker, but actually better.
If your game sucks so much and you are so bad at your job that you have to hire other people, you probably shouldn't have that job in the first place. This is the major problem with the industry. We're not hiring people based on their skills. We're not hiring the best people for the job. We're just hiring the people that fit the checklists and check off these boxes. And yeah, unfortunately, that's not going to change anytime soon. But at the end of the day, that's all that this is people being hired and sucking so much that other people have to be hired to try to, market a game towards a certain audience because they realized halfway through the development cycle, oh shit, we don't have an audience and nobody's going to show up to buy it.
I'm going to be really blunt here, and pardon my bluntness. But if you're being hired to make games better, how come pretty much all of your games have failed catastrophically?
Yep.
You're clearly not good at your job. Like, it's obvious, just based from a sales perspective, you're not doing your job good enough, but you continuously are hired.
Yep.
Right? So what does that tell you? Your games are not working. It is what it is. Your job you're not good enough at your job.
Exactly.
Sorry, not sorry. It is what it is.
And believe me, when this first started, I was so worried that studios would stop working with us. I worried we seemed too toxic. I worried we seemed too dangerous, too beleaguered, too much of a risk to work with, but that is not what happened. What happened was, at least privately, every team we worked with was quite supportive. The external silence, I'll say, was deafening at times and also frustrating, but such is the way of corporate. And
is this the same lady who just reworked their website to remove their partners from their that they work with? And she's talking about keeping things private. Just a little bit of irony there. That's all. Just a little irony.
And it was still nice fundamentally, I think, to realize that studios, teams, and individuals still wanted us around and still saw our value. Which I will say, though, is also a very disorienting experience, because what happens when you get harassed is that you realize that most of it is just noise and that nothing functionally or fundamentally changes. People say, I'm so sorry for what you're dealing with, but could I get that script on Monday? And you say, yeah, it sucks. Anyway, I will get that to you Monday, though, because there is no time off. There is no stop in video game production. You can monetize a hate video, but there is no hazard pay for harassment. And we are not, and despite what you may have heard, so moneyed that we can just take a break or take a vacation and chill. So,
by the way, there's no
boo-hoo.
Right. Go ahead, Vera. Go ahead.
No, I mean, it's the total victimhood mentality. Like, despite beliefs, we don't have enough money to just take a vacation. Okay, and this is your job. You have to do your job. I'm not going to feel bad for you that you can't take a little vacation just because some people on the internet were a little mean to you and a little mad at you.
Well, and to be clear, she said there's no stopping in game development. Well, guess what? Go to any industry in the world. That industry doesn't stop. It's just the reality. And you know what? Sometimes people have bad days. And you know what they do? They get their ass out of bed and they go to their job and they continue working. That's just how it works. You know, listen, there are days where I wake up, I'm like, God, I would love to sleep until 3. But you know what? I got fucking responsibilities, right? And in my case, I'm the CEO. You're the CEO of your company. Get your ass up, stop feeling sorry for yourself, and do your fucking job. Sorry.
Yep.
Little Billy Madison for you right there. Let's continue.
By day we worked, and meanwhile, all around us, the noise continues. And this is here because I remember one evening I was coming home and I was like, all right, I've dealt with too much today. I'm just going to relax by going to the Yakuza subreddit, which I have to say 99% of the time is a wonderful space. It's very funny and the people are pretty nice. But not even thinking, I scrolled past a joke about Sweet Baby Inc. And the thing is, in service of this great subreddit, it was actually well-intentioned. It was not a joke intended to make fun of us. It was intended to make fun of the campaign. But the strangeness of it still, of it being everywhere, but feeling inescapable, but meaning nothing in my day-to-day was too utterly bizarre. And beyond just having to mute a wonderful, wonderful safe place for myself, I also wanted to quit. I wanted to leave the company. I wanted to do something else.
Bye-bye.
Or me.
See you later, world's smallest violin over here.
If she decided to quit, like what would have happened? How would a Mercante or a Polygon or a Verge responded had they packed up and been like, they're done?
No, because this is exactly what happened with Gamergate 1 going into Gamergate 2. Right at the beginning of Gamergate 2, Gamergate 1 was like officially over, right? Because Feminist Frequency announced their shutdown. But Kim Belair was emboldened to create Sweet Baby Inc. because of people like Anita Sarkeesian and Brianna Wu. So there would inevitably be somebody else to follow in Anita's footsteps, Zoe's footsteps, Kim's footsteps. There's always going to be someone else.
Let's go ahead make our way through this last few minutes. I know this has been long, but we appreciate you guys hanging with us. Do us a favor, hit the thumbs up button. It helps get the show out there. I am 100% positive that this show will get demonetized. So we appreciate your support, your super chats, your direct donations. Know that we probably won't be able to read all of them. I'll read some of the larger ones, obviously. But in the interest of Vera and Steph's time, we probably won't be able to read all of them. But we do greatly appreciate your support as it allows us to do this Monday through Friday for you guys. Thank you guys very much.
I'll tell you that running a self-funded business in a very volatile industry is very hard on a good day, especially when you do something with us. But it's hard, let alone when like Elon Musk is like crawling bleary-eyed out of his money pit to tell us that we deserve to go broke. It's a disaster. But what happens when you get harassed is also that you realize all you have is each other. And you can maybe call it trauma bonding, but when there are no prizes and no funds and no vacations and as compensation, right? And the only thing you have on your plate is suddenly your widely derided work, you also start to make more space for each other. You start to recognize that the work will sometimes feel thankless, but that you still love it. And you love it, fortunately or unfortunately, because you get to do it together as a team. And for us, that means we're doing it as Sweet Baby Inc. What happens when you get harassed is that you forget who you are, but then you remember. We are writers, we are storytellers, we are narrative designers, we are creative, we are passionate, we are funny, and we are doing this because we love it. We love it so much, in fact, that we'll do it even through the worst months of our lives, because our lives ultimately are about stories. And as I wrap up, I want to say that that's frustrating too, because it makes it really hard to talk about. There is an instinct, I think, in all of us, or at least a desire to tell a good story. And this whole thing, whatever it is, isn't a very good story. There's not much of an arc, and frankly, there is no resolution as yet. Sometimes a story is just what happens. And what happens is you get hurt, you feel bad, you get tired, you get scared, you get angry, you get sad, you get really, really good at Elden Ring. Thank you.
Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. Can we just take a quick... Hold on. I just want to look at the audience. These are all masks. Do you see all these masks in here?
I can't see anything.
Oh my God. Yeah, so all these I just see little white masks of the audience in here. That tells you
surprising.
Yeah, sorry. I'm just looking at this a little tighter. These are all little masks in here. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Okay. Tells you what you need to know. All right. Sorry. I know my monitor is a little dark. Yeah. I'll take a screenshot for you guys and put it over on X.
I'm great at it now.
There? No,
But
nothing.
after that, you get back to work. Because what happens when you get harassed is that you have to live with it and they have to live with you. And so we'll see, I guess, what happens next. Thank you for your time.
All right.
You know, because they love to claim criticism as harassment, because they put my image up there, Sweet Baby Inc. harassed me, guys. I am bothered, but I still have to go on with my day-to-day life. I still have to, you know, do the videos today and do my live streams. I can't believe it. I don't know how I'm going to get through being harassed by Sweet Baby Inc.
You're brave, Vera. You're brave. and I appreciate your bravery for getting up and dealing with this harassment.
I know.
This
I'm a very strong person. Yeah.
To be clear, this harassment campaign led by Kim Belair targeting you.
I know.
And mentioning this.
It's honestly, it's just so grotesque. It's so heartbreaking. I can't believe this.
Hey, can we get a round of applause for Vera and her bravery, please, in the chat? Just a wow. Now, I did want to bring up your tweet here. You want to kind of go into this a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you know, the fact that she starts it off with saying what happens when you get harassed, a Sweet Baby Inc. story is rich, because what about their team trying to get creators deplatformed like Kabrutus, like Yellow Flash, like you, Craig? And what about their consultants claiming not even that long ago that they wanted to burn the industry to the ground? So they're saying all of that's okay and that's not harassment, but us simply putting up videos discussing this awful behavior by their employees, but that's harassment? It's absolutely absurd. Criticism and harassment are not the same things. And all we're doing as content creators is criticizing their employees, the games they're working on, all of their decisions, but they love to label anything harassment because it's just the victimhood mentality. And this victimhood narrative is absolutely nauseating. It's happening time and time again. But maybe if you just put out better products and you did a better job, we wouldn't have to criticize you, and then you could go on living your life the way that you want. But these people don't understand that. We are sick and tired of buying trash products and supporting activists that hate our guts, and they're really learning that lesson very quickly now.
So these types of people are very much rules for thee and not for me. Because they
100%.
live in their own little bubble, they view you as the enemy, so you are the proper person to go after and harass. And they won't mention that. She'll never mention that in her whole little speech that she just gave, because that would make her look bad, and it doesn't fit the narrative that she's trying to put out there. So she would never mention that. But in their minds, they view y'all as like, oh, but you're see, we're just the tiny little people, group of 16 poor people that they're coming after, poor us. But y'all with your huge followings, how dare you come and attack us? You're the enemy. So we can totally launch a hate campaign against you guys and launch a cancellation campaign against you guys, deplatforming campaign against you guys. We just won't tell these people over here that we're doing that because it'll make us look bad. But we can totally do that.
Vera, I have an idea for you.
Mm-hmm.
As somebody who was prominently featured in that image near the center, I pointed out, I think that you should create a TED Talk style video in the exact same form. And then present it the exact same way. I think that'd be wonderful.
Maybe in the next couple days I can work on something.
Just throwing it out there. Now look, I did want to, we'll wrap this up with this. It's obvious that Kim Belair and Sweet Baby Inc. Look, I've never spoken to Kim Belair. Right. I did invite them to come on the show when all this was going on, but it was obviously caught in the 500 or so emails that they were receiving on a day-to-day basis. So I don't blame them. But I do want to publicly point out that, yes, look, Sweet Baby Inc. feels that there's a lot of confusion and, quote, misinformation about what they do. If that's the case, let's clear it up. This is an open invite for Kim Belair to come on Side Scrollers and have a good faith conversation about what they do, her company, and the, quote, misinformation and harassment they see. They say they see, and more. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a little transparent. If they see there's an issue, come on the show and speak directly to this audience, right? We will bring Kabrutus on, we'll bring Grums on, and we can have that conversation. We'll bring Vera on. You know what we'll do? We'll bring everybody who is on that list that just to be able to ask, okay, what did I do? Please tell me about the harassment that I have given to you and tell me more. And because I think that it's important to get clarity from these people. So I will open up our platform for them to come on and talk. Will they do it? No.
No.
But it's important to at least reach your hand out and extend it and say, hey, come on, let's give it a go. And they ultimately will reject it because the reality is that they don't want solutions, right? They want to keep this going because, as I said, it's just a big grift for them, right? I'm here trying to, and yes, I would love for them to, bring some receipts. So
Yeah.
but
Kim will show up when Alyssa shows up, and that's going to be approximately never. I mean, maybe we could get Anita Sarkeesian to show up because she needs money, but
yeah,
I don't even know about that one.
Mm-hmm. I don't think
well,
there's any misinformation out there. The only misinformation out there is the misinformation that they're putting out there because they completely changed their narrative. She kept saying the narrative, our story, because they changed it. They changed it with their new website because right now their new website says that Sweet Baby Inc. is an award-winning team of writers and narrative designers who help make stories better. But their original mission statement on their old website said, our mission is to tell better, more empathetic stories while diversifying and enriching the video game industry. We aim to make games more engaging, more fun, more meaningful, and more inclusive for everyone. So they've completely changed their narrative. So all of the old stuff that everybody's been putting out there, that's misinformation because this is our new narrative that we're putting out.
Yep.
Right. It's funny you mentioned that, Vera. You said your reaction to all this, and we actually have it built in.
Shut up, bitch!
That really is my reaction. Is just listening to her yap.
Right. Okay. Look, we've gone on a very long time today here on this Friday. It's almost 20 minutes till 2. So we do have some super chats. I want to get to some of those, some of the larger ones. As I said, I won't be able to read all of them just in the interest of Steph and Vera's time. Vera, I did want to give you an opportunity to bounce, but I did want to say thank you for joining us today on this wonderful Friday.
I'll stick around.
Oh, cool. Excellent. All right. Well, we got here. Sith came back in, says, saw an article, not sure how true it is, but apparently Concord is supposedly going to be making a comeback. They sunk too much money into it, probably can't take a tax write-off. Well, I think, and I saw Flash in as well, and he mentioned the idea of like they'd make more money from it being a tax write-off. They can still write it off later. If it fails again, they can still write it off later. Give it another go. So Kratos says, I wonder if she realized she's saying everything we're saying, but with a positive connotation. Is she that ignorant, or is she deliberately and maliciously gaslighting? No, she has no idea that's what she's saying. Absolutely. Right. Stay at Home Hippo says, notice how these people say we need hornier games and more sex and entertainment, yet we have relationship managers in shows, movies, games, and not a single person can have an actual healthy relationship.
Mm-hmm.
That's an interesting observation. Master Gawa says, it's absolutely not about forming an audience. They legit don't care if all of gaming dies. They seek to socially engineer society because people aren't born LGBTQ. Blah, 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 blah. They are groomed into it by media. Thanks, Mr. Gawa. Appreciate your thoughts. Ayer Kayas says, someone should look into how DEI infected the ESRB. It's the perfect host for the virus, not for profit and in charge of censorship. That is a really interesting idea. Looking at how everything is in the ESRB, that's a great idea. Video Man came and says SBI has no benefit. They are being found out, and they are being punished for it, regardless of quality. They manipulate people, and this is the North American crash of 1983 all over again. Thanks, Video Man. Johnny Arbor came in and says, why are we watching Rachel Dozell? Well, hey, V, how you doing? Thanks, Johnny. Appreciate that. Vera, how are you doing?
Doing good.
All right, great. God damn it, I want a name says we totally didn't force a black person into Alan Woke 2. She's lying.
Surely.
Yeah, she's lying as naturally as she's breathing. Saga was a white Scandinavian woman in all the promotional materials until one day she mythically became black. Gaslighting is their weapon of choice.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. John says, remember that Ultron decided that the world should be destroyed after being on the internet? Thanks, John. Appreciate that. And Bizarre Star came in and says, seems like a pretty bad consultancy group, considering they couldn't even get the right flag for Miles and allow for the Green Lantern, John Stewart, to be referred to as one of the good ones by Deadshot. Thanks, Bizarre Star. Appreciate that. Along the way. Okay. So I'll tell you what. I am going to read all these super chats, but I am going to do that. I'm going to do it over on sidescrollerspodcast.com. I think that's the best play to do it, just because I don't know. Let's just roll. Let's just roll. We got it. Coakley says clarity isn't what they want, Craig. I also want to be optimistic about, but at this point, I'm so tired of all this. I just want to play games. That's it. Yes. Yep. No, you're not alone right there. Rio says that woman is a flake. Okay, takes a harasser to no one on her part. Also, nice seeing you, lovely Bara. We'll miss you on Side Scroller, Steph.
Yeah, I'll miss Side Scrollers too.
Oh, she's getting sad now.
I'm really sad.
Yeah.
Now's the time to say goodbye. Grateful Gamer says she's a failed actress. She's too full of BS to not be. The audience is fellow SBI employees, and it's obvious. Wearing masks, huh? Real stunning and brave. Jacob says Kim Belair has an offshore bank account. She is in no position to tell others how hard it is. Thanks, Jacob. Enrique came in and says, sorry, but this biche wants hazard pay for harassment. I deliver packages in the middle of COVID to hospitals and morgues. Didn't get hazard pay. I know but you got to work, Enrique. That's the right. And that was your reward. Congratulations. Hey, thanks, Enrique. Appreciate that. Release the Kraken says, so blunt, I got a contact high. Cheers. Appreciate that. Scarfy says, no more romance options. I'm tired of dating sims disguised as RPG games. I never watched D&D wanting to ship my character with an NPC or hireling. Dane came in and says, she's insane. Games have turned to cotton candy narrative. They just think being sexually degenerate or gore is all you need to do to make it dark. Hobo Cop says, I want to witness the scene where someone goes up to someone like Kim Belair and is like, you inspire me. Yeah. Thanks, Hobo Cop. By the way, I mentioned this last year. I do think that I like to go to Game Developers Conference. I think that it would be really good for us to do our shows at the Game Developers Conference. That'd be a really interesting thing to do. Have a full setup there and stuff. Latex says lowballing Wukong on 2 million and the 100 people playing Dustborn. The modern audience is 0.005% of the audience. Master Gawa says modern audience is those ruining our media. Feminists exist. The agenda isn't to create an audience, but to birth more LGBT by grooming via media. Master Gawa, the Grateful Gamer, says who's doxing and threatening them? They would have posted receipts on Twitter for weeks. Mainstream news would have covered it. Bet it's the SBI audience. Scarfy says, too bad Rings of Power made me root for Sauron. Thanks, appreciate that. Mighty Zan says, let's see if Sweet Baby Inc. would take their payments solely as a percentage of game sales and find out if they alter their stance on things. Right? That'd be interesting. Deadpool Kid says, does anyone want to bet she lives lives at least 5 or 6 figs gated community? I'm guessing. Yeah. Thanks, Deadpool Kid. I'm sure she's doing pretty well for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wildo T Baggins says Side Scrollers, a new Ice 9 Kills single drop. Best Friday ever. Let's go. Thanks, Wildo T Baggins. Yosh Ken says, gotta love how these people always just add something negative before a group names to make it sense. Blah, blah, blah. Gotta love how these people always just add something negative before a group name to make it seem worse than what it is. They hate you. Thanks, Yosh Ken. Mr. Melancholy, hate campaign. Kim sounds like she's never had to take responsibility for anything in her life.
Yeah.
Mr. Melancholy, stop with the hate campaign. Stop with this. Norm says, how much you want to bet that Kim Belair is talking to a canned audience? I'll post a picture of the NPCs they had, which once again, they were all in masks. It's amazing. Deadpool Kid says, let's see, curly fro, light-skinned cocoa woman who may or may not be a lesbiana sounds like your typical, did you guys check your privileges lately? Uriah says, I'm thinking about making Sweet Lolly Inc. as a parody of Sweet Baby. Hey, go crazy, Uriah. Deadpool Kids, the Sweet Baby Inc. Epstein, their list. Nobody will ever know. Oh no, there's truth, but people know what's going on. Jake came in as a brand new member today. Thank you very much, Jake. Appreciate that. Jacob came in and says, So what you're saying is they need to spend another $200K just to make Concord the Morbius of video games, where it can be the first game to flop twice. That's great. Ruby wants to know if we're excited for the first Berserk. Joey says, "Have you ever played? Have any of you played Dragon Ball Sparking Zero? If so,
Yeah, it just came
how hard
out.
was Giant Ape Vegeta for you? Did you play?
I have not. I have
yet?
not played it yet, but I do plan to play it soon.
Well, I'm not a huge anime guy personally, but I do like video games." Gear says, "Can't wait for Thunderfoot to roast Elon again. Overcommit and overconfidence could affect you in an unfortunate way. Take care, side scrollers. Thanks, Gear. Appreciate your support today. Massive." Mark Reality says, "Elon fired 80% of Twitter, making it profitable, removing the woke hedgehog." What word is that, Steph? Can you read that? Can you read that word? I don't know what that. Yeah. Oh, there you go. And making it run better. Government efficiency commission. That's right. Great. By the way, some people have talked about efficiency, and speaking is not, those two words don't work with me, Steph. You know that. But some people have asked about us doing like an election night thing. I'm kind of on the fence about that. So just know we may or may not do something like that, because that only happens like once every 4 years. So I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. Crimson Cyborg says, "I said this on Daily, and I trust Elon to keep us in the international tech race. It's happening, like it or not. Better Tesla than China. I embrace the new." Thanks, Crimson Cyborg. Appreciate that. Yeah, and we'll see what happens. $20,000 to $30,000 for a personal assistant is, it's not that bad, especially if it's doing your dishes. Benj then came in and says, "The cars from iRobot are cool. Not gonna lie. Imagine an Audi R8 coupe, but with full ball wheels, and instead of turning, it's strafed in a gliding manner." There you go, Benj. Yeah. I like the idea. Soul Silver says, "Does the Robo van come with a vertical stand and a physical disk drive, or does it come separately?" Nice dig. Normal Man says, "Does anyone else have the sudden urge to move to the middle of nowhere and go off the grid?" Talking about the Elon Musk stuff. Yes. Sergey came in, says, "Mark my words, the robot uprising will be caused by human making a robot to do something inhumane." Scarvy says, "Keep in mind that you can control them remotely with motion sensor technology." Thank you, Scarfy. Hyena says, "Had a flashback to an old Tailspin episode where the airline started replacing all their pilots with 1940s versions of these robots." Nice. Oh. Mo came in and says, "And regardless of the BD dog bots, okay, they are
Boston Dynamics.
Boston. They are currently for sale to the public as perimeter security." Wow, I didn't know that. They even have a dome. They recharge in like a doghouse. Oh, that's neat. Interesting.
They are ahead of the curve.
Horny Undernet says, well, we've been eating crap woke for a while, and still recommend action, Tateman, to cleanse the palate, especially anniversary 15 days, login goods. Well, thank you. I don't understand what I just read. Memories of Frem says, "The robot Turk, Majerb." The robot Turk, Majerb. Do you imagine? It says, "All hail Mother Skynet, bow to AI overlord." Also, sup, Greg. Hello, Steph and Vera.
Hi, Imaginary.
Solon says, "COD POC ops with Nerf dart guns. Don't offend people. Filters, social scoreboards. Cinquintile gaming for the modern audience. Say it is fun, or else." Thanks, Solon. Torgo says, "Nuclear power plants will buy all of them just for radiation protection rules." You Ate My Rice says, "Imagine coming home early from work to see your housekeeping robot enjoying some quality time with your wife."
Sheesh.
No thanks. Normal Man says, "That's weird. Why am I hearing the Terminator thing? Do you hear what do you folks hear it too?" Zimmerman says, it's all fun until robots say, 'I need your clothes, your boots, and your motorcycle.'" Bad News Badger says, "You're doing something right when every live stream you watch has this will get monetized section." That's right. Welcome to Side Scrollers. And Corey says, "Elon Musk is a genius releasing these robots because Sony will buy 1 million of these robots to play Concord." Oh,
probably.
Nice. Mr. Melancholy says, Call of Duty isn't worth buying. I'm sick of these people censoring people.
Mm-hmm.
Mike has bad knees says, hey, Steph from My Nerdy Home. Thanks for co-hosting this week. Insert something really simply here. Thanks,
Hello.
Mike. Rob says, Craig, didn't you say you wanted to hire a second host? Steph seems ready. We do. Yeah, I said that at the start of the year. Yeah. We'll see. I think we'll be able to find a place for Steph eventually. Solon says, boo this normal man. Boo him into the cinema. Sorry, my fault. Thanks, Solon. Guy Fox says, if Concord does return as free-to-play game, how many concurrent players do you think they'll get, and how long until they close again? Vera?
I don't know. I don't know when they'll relaunch. I don't know how many players they'll have, but I don't think it's going to be good no matter what. Agreed.
Jake says, hail and hello to you all. Have a great one today. Hey, Jake, thank you very much for the kind words. Mr. Melancholy says, Mercante is still hiding from Vera like a coward.
Yeah, I'm still blocked. She still talks about me behind a block, but she, just likes to ignore my existence until she thinks it's going to gain her a little bit of traction on social media.
I got blocked yesterday for the second time from her.
I've been blocked by her 4 times now. She blocks and unblocks. So
okay,
stacking them up.
See what you're saying about her. That's why.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't help it.
Joe's guy says, great show as always. Cheers to Craig and Vera, as well as thanks for Steph for the stellar work this week. Hope you come back to Side Scroller soon. Maybe on Monday. We'll see. And Kratos came in and says, that's a fair point on ESRB. Wasn't there a big push, a petition to get them to rate games based on their online community behaviors? Kratos, I do believe that happened several years ago, but I don't quite recall all the information about that. Shane over on Rumble says, hey, Craig, I have to give a quick shout out to my Little League baseball team. My son dropped the last out and the other team tied the game. We came back with 5 runs the next inning and won. Proud of this team. Let's go. Good for you, Shane. Hey, and good for your son for bouncing back. That's great. Good stuff. Marco Reality over on Rumble says the worst part of this is the fact that they do not represent any of the marginalized groups they claim to rep. They're using the oppression to piss off the normal peeps. Appreciate that. Says they were never elected to LGBTQ, blacks, and Hispanics, etc. That's right. They were never elected to represent them at all. Tune says conspiracy doesn't mean made up. It means people conspired or planned together to do something for either good or ill. It bugs me every time someone uses the word to imply it's delusional.
Yep.
Right. And Marco Reality says they want to remove representation of competent white and or Asian males. I don't know about that, but Jimmy Nature says, Craig, prerequisite for side scroller CEO position must be versed in all Arnold movies or no deal. Period. That's right. It's something that I definitely need to think about in a major way. Okay, we've been live for almost 3 hours today. I'm sure we're all hungry. We're all pretty tired, but I think we did a pretty good thing today. And I know there's some super chats I appreciate. I'm gonna have these go on as we finish up the show here, but I do want to say thank you guys to each and every one of you guys for popping in. Vera, while we scroll through these super chats on the bottom of the screen, would you mind telling everybody where they can find you?
You can find me over here on YouTube at Dark Titan Media. You can find me on X. I have a public Discord server. Anyone's free to join. I have tons of different social medias, but I'm currently live streaming through Silent Hill 2's remake, which we will be finishing tomorrow during stream.
Do you like it?
Yep. I think I don't think it's a bad remake. The problem is it did not need a remake, and it does make some changes from the original. Like, it just feels more like Resident Evil. But I love Resident Evil, so I'm not like angry at it. I just expected better. But unfortunately, I always knew that Bloober Team probably wasn't going to do the best job. But yeah, then I'll be going back to Zelda. I want to try to hopefully start the latest Mana game, and there's a ton of stuff coming out this month, and in just a couple of days we have the new Sweet Baby Inc. Unknown 9 game, which I will be streaming because I hate myself and chat tortures me.
You'll be the one. You'll be the one. Oh, that's funny.
Yep.
All right. Well, excellent. Everyone go find Vera. Her link is down in the description. Steph, where can everybody find you?
All across my social medias, everything is at My Nerdy Home, and on YouTube, I put out a video yesterday about the Joker 2 movie. So if you'd like, you can go and check that out.
Excellent. All right, awesome. Well, big round of applause for Steph for her hard work this week, all 5 days. Maybe she'll be back on Monday if Blabs can't handle. We'll figure that out if she's too jet lagged to come on back. So maybe we'll see Steph one more time on Monday. But we appreciate everybody this week. What a great week of broadcasting. We'll be back at it again on Monday. Don't forget some new videos dropping over the course of the weekend. So when you guys see them, please watch them. We'd really appreciate that. Watch them to their end, the entire thing. Watch time is important. And of course, hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button on your way out. Listen, I'm done.
That's how you know it's been a long stream. He's just
done.
thinking about food. He's like lunch. Need lunch.
Yep. I'm thinking of food and lunch. I'm hungry. But with that said, guys, have a great rest of your day. Go outside, touch some grass this weekend. And remember, people are going to try to keep you down. Don't let them. You guys got a goal. Go get it. Have a great weekend, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.
I miss you all.